Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the InterSim Esports Network for your Friday night. Tonight we bring you the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series from Phoenix Raceway. 3 corners on the agenda tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and your duration will be 200 laps as we just go into qualifying. My name's Aidan Schultz, and joining me in the booth, as always, is Paul Jackson. Good evening to you tonight, Paul.
Good evening, Aidan. Friday night, the weekend is upon us.
It is, and what better way to kick it off than bring all the viewers all the action of round 5 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series. As I said, the drivers are just into their qualifying session here. As you can see, there is the second corner on the track. They can cut that tri-oval. Phoenix Raceway has had a little bit of update in the iRacing landscape as of late. The old main straight is actually the back straight now at Phoenix Raceway. So the pace car you'll see come in down the back straight, but they've actually got to navigate their way through one more corner before they make their way to the green flag or to the restart area. Few issues last night in the truck race I was involved in. Hopefully they have that sorted for tonight's race. But we've just seen Tim Weston go to the top with a 27.47. Maxi Marshall's not far behind him in second there with a 27.5 and 27.59. Andy Barber, he's just actually been pipped and dropped down to fourth by your championship leader, Norman Clark. We can see Andy Barber on track there. Looks like that's his 2 laps done and dusted in the number 5 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry. But on with the man of the moment, coming off a win last night in the Full Throttle Truck Series, a quite dominant win there, the 0-2 Southern Stars Racing outfit of Darren McKenzie. He's just gone to the top with a 27.28 to pip his teammate Adam Malone in the number 4 entry as Darren gets nice and loose there out of the final turn. So his second lap will not be the quickest, but it's still good enough for him to be sitting at the top of the time sheets at the moment over Adam Malone and Norman Clark as we watch. I believe that could be Greg Spencer on board. I know that car well. He's had more hits than Elvis in the last couple of weeks, Greg Spencer, so he'll be looking to get a better result there in the 29 Pinnacle Esports Racing Pennzoil car. As I'll just put the curse on him again. He's had a big lick into the wall there, Paul. So Greg Spencer, hopefully he gets all that out of the road early in this one. But on with Ruben Phelps from Aussie Esports, he'll be looking for a better run tonight. He got a win a week or so ago. He was quickest through the practice session, but that time's only good enough to put him in provisional 3rd position with a 27.37. On board now with Tom Pritchard. He comes off an 8th position last night in the truck series, so he'll be looking to back up that tonight with another solid top 10 result. Tom Pritchard in 8th position at the moment with a 27.65. Matty Simpson's just jumped up to 9th there with a 27.70 in the 117, as you can see there. So a little bit of a gap between the field at the moment as we're on board with the 59 of Brad Fenley. Brad coming off a podium, I believe, last week, Paul, here in the NASCAR Next Gen Series brought to you by simrigs.com. Brett Campbell was your winner and first winner in the iRacing platform in a league from Aussie Esports, so he'll be looking to back that up with a double tonight. But I can see him down the timesheets at the moment in 17th with 34.5, so a long way for Brett to go. But as I said, it is 200 laps around Phoenix Raceway tonight, and thank you everyone that's tuning in. Oh, Greg's just got a purple there. I'll just go to Greg because he's got a purple. He's come out and had a second go at this time, and he's got a purple sector through the first, a yellow one through the second, which isn't going to help Greg there. Looks like that has put him up into the 7th position. So a little bit of a late charge there by the 29 of Greg Spencer. He's further up the field than he has been the last couple of weeks. So look forward to seeing Greg Spencer hopefully have a nice solid run tonight, Paul. But everyone tuning in here on the InterSim Esports Network, we thank you so much, whether it be across our Facebook, YouTube, and soon to be again, Twitch platforms. Be sure to give us a like and a follow if you haven't already. And of course, invite people to do that so you make sure you don't miss any of the action here live on the InterSim Esports Network on your Friday, Sunday, and Tuesday night. As we're on board now with the 014 of Reese Clayton, looks like he's just blinking out a little bit there. So the 014 of Reese Clayton having a few connection issues. Looks like that is all that she wrote for Reese Clayton. He's down there. He didn't record a time. So 3 drivers didn't record a time here in the qualifying session. They are Tristan Koch, Reese Clayton and Derek Jacobs. As we roll across, and we will bring you your starting grid for round 5 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series from Phoenix Raceway for 200 laps. Darren McKenzie will be off the pole with Adam Malone, a Southern Stars Esports Racing front row lockout in second. Ruben Phelps, Aussie Esports in third. Norman Clark, Natari Autosport out of fourth. Tim Weston out of fifth with Maxi Marshall out of sixth. Greg Spencer from Pinnacle Esports Racing out of 7. Andy Barber, the next of the Southern Stars Racing guys, out of 8. Out of 9 is another Southern Stars Racing entry in Tom Pritchard. Out of 10 will be Matty Simpson. Brian Bullock out of 11, and Brad Fenley, last week's podium getter, out of the 12th position. 13th will be Matt Payton from Pinnacle Esports Racing. Glenn Klein will start out of the 14th position. Mark Johansson out of 15 with Jamie Nankervis out of 16. Teammates there out of 15 and 16. Michael Shaw out of 17. Brett Campbell from Aussie Esports, last week's first-time winner, out of 18. Kobe Jordan out of 19. Todd May out of 20. Tristan Koch, Aussie Esports, also out of 21. Reese Clayton out of 22. And rounding out your 23 starters tonight here for what is round 5 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series is our American friend, Derek Jacobs. But looking forward to this one, Paul. 200 laps around Phoenix. I hope you've got a couple of drinks and a couple of scones, because this is going to be a long one. As you can see there, it is 200 laps around this 3-cornered track tonight. 75% fuel as always. 2 sets of tyres over the wall that they can take, not including the ones that they are on. No fast repairs tonight. Green, white checker. We'll have one of those if needed. Myself is Aidan Schultz, as always, and Paul Jackson in the booth. The track notes, it's a little 1-mile track, 1.6 kilometres in, I think that's the metric term. Time is 4:55 p.m. in the sim world. So expect to see the sun go down and the lights come out here around Phoenix Raceway. But Paul, getting settled in for 200 laps. We've seen a lot of cautions in the last couple of weeks. Hopefully we don't see that tonight.
Short track racing, I know from experience, and especially last night, I was in a Martinsville race. There was quite a few cautions there, but short track racing, and especially with this dog leg, it can bring out some cautions, Aidan. So hopefully everyone gives each other a little bit of room, and we can get some green flag racing. But looks like they've just delayed the start, possibly, just for everyone to get out on track and caught up, as the 117 of Matty Simpson was a bit late to actually leave the pit lane.
Yeah, Paul, you're exactly right, and that's what we saw last night. They're going down the back stretch now, which is the old front stretch. So normally the pace car would go in there, and they make their way around this left-hand corner. You'll see when they come out of this corner, you'll see the start-finish line just on the exit there. So that's why they've delayed the green, just to allow all the drivers to get out of pit lane and form up into their position. So we will be going green next time past the stripe. We will already have 1 lap under the books. Taking us from the pole will be the 02 of Darren McKenzie. Adam Malone on the outside of that front row. As I said, it's the Southern Stars Racing front row lockout. Ruben Phelps out of P2, coming off of 5th position last night at the same track in the trucks. As I said, Darren McKenzie come home with the W last night. He'll be looking to back that up. Norman Clark, your championship leader, out of 4. Maxi Marshall out of 5. Tim Weston out of 6 as well. Maxi Marshall showing some good speed there in the 7 car. He's been quick for the last couple of rounds. We'll see whether he can convert that into a podium position. But the pace car is in pit lane as they make their way down the backstretch. We'll see whether Darren goes, and he is going down the backstretch. So there we go. They're not having the rules that I thought they were going to have tonight, as they won't actually take the green flag until they come across the start-finish line right here. And Darren's about to do that right now, as you see that. So now we're officially under green here for 200 laps around Phoenix Raceway. It was Darren McKenzie with the jump. Ruben Phelps has got up the inside of Adam Malone to take 2nd place. So it's the story of last night. The only difference is I'm not in between Darren McKenzie and Ruben Phelps, because I'm behind the mic. It is Darren McKenzie and Ruben Phelps leading the way, and we've got our first caution of the night, lap 1 out of 200, and it is the 60 of Brian Bullock there that's had an incident there, Paul. So let's go across to the Inside Lane Productions instant replay and have a look what brought out the first caution of tonight. So on board with the 60 of Brian Bullock. The car in front of him's got really loose up into the fence. Matty Simpson, that was. Brian Bullock really nowhere to go there as he pushed up through the turn. They've made contact. We'll see whether Matt Payton can sneak his way through there on the inside. It looks like he's just done that. Brian Bullock does a good job to save that one. So do the drivers in missing him as well. Matt Fenley there on the inside just missed as well. So Brian Bullock is going to have a little bit of damage there that he'll have to get fixed in the 60 car. Not the way he wanted to start his night. But Paul, 200 laps tonight, that's not the way the guys would have wanted to start.
No, definitely not. Darren McKenzie was trying to get that early jump there and looked to make a bit of a gap there, and that didn't really help him now. But he can do the same thing again and see if he can try and get that early jump, or he can back the field up.
Yeah, that'll be the story of the night tonight. Darren McKenzie I saw last night because I was either beside him or behind him, that he generally liked to have that jump down the back stretch, not wait until they come out of that final turn. I saw Ruben a couple of times last night when he started from the pole on a restart, just held up the field a little bit. So there'll be different strategies with drivers as they hold the pole position tonight as the race does wear on. But if history does repeat itself, and it looks like it did for the first start of tonight, Darren McKenzie will go early. Derek Jacobs already behind the pace car there, just in front of Darren, but he must have been in the pits there. So, yeah, he hasn't been in pit lane at the moment, but he's already showing. He started from pits, sorry, Paul, in my ear. So he started from pit lane. So he'll get the wave around with one to go and tag on to the back of this field. Ladies and gentlemen, we can see you all tuning in here on the Indocimi Sports Network, and we thank you for joining us once again for your Friday night of NASCAR Next Gen action. Be sure to comment on our stream through Facebook or YouTube. Keep us entertained for what will be a long night in the office for 200 laps around Phoenix Raceway. Let us know who you want to win. We always know the usuals that comment on our streams, and we know who you'll be going for. But anyone different, get your friends to tune in. Everyone comment. We are going to have the most amazing part of the night during the night as well, apart from the racing, of course, which of course is number one. But it will be the famous Friday night Indocimi Sports Network trivia. So if you want to go to bed on your Friday night with a lot of useless information about Phoenix Raceway and NASCAR Next Gens, keep tuned in here to the Indocimi Sports Network, because you're going to go to bed just that little bit wiser. So, Paul, I bet you're looking forward to that one. I think you're about 1 from 465,000.
Oh, I don't even know if I'm one. I think I was pretty close to one, but I'm not sure if I did get one or not.
I'll give you one, but our man Joshua Carroll-Walden's not in here tonight, so he's not able to see whether he can back it up. But Tristan Koch is. We'll see whether he can do that during the broadcast as well. But Darren McKenzie will bring us to the green flag for the second time tonight, lap 5 of 200. Ruben Phelps on the outside of that second row. He's just jumped Adam Malone, so different looking front row as the pace car is in. Will Darren McKenzie go early once again down the back stretch, or will he wait until turn number 3? I don't believe he will, as they make their way halfway down the back stretch. It looks like he might this time. He might have had a little bit of a whisper in the ear by the league admins and said, just wait a little bit until we get out of turn number 3 as they make their way through there now. Ruben Phelps dropping just a little bit back on the outside there. He's going to be really, really under pressure by the 4 of Adam Malone, as we can see that now as we're green for the second time tonight. Darren McKenzie with that great jump on the outside line. Adam Malone has now passed Ruben Phelps up into the second position. Ruben taking third position. Tim Weston just settling in there nicely into 4th. Maxi Marshall into 5th. Greg Spencer, after starting 7th, has moved up 1 position into the 6th place at the moment. Norman Clark going a little bit backwards at the moment after starting out of P4. He's on the inside of Greg Spencer, trying to get that job done there as they go side by side. Andy Barber getting involved in this little battle as well early on. So a little bit of a heated exchange here early on between Greg Spencer, Norman Clark, Andy Barber. Matt Payton was involved in that. Derek Jacobs gone around into the wall, and the yellow flag for the second time tonight has come out. So Derek Jacobs, after starting from pit lane, another car in the background there is smoking dramatically. So that looks like that is night over for the 64 of Glenn Klein. We might have to have a chat with him a little bit later if he is in the channels for us to bring up. But let's go to the Inside Lane Productions replay and have a look at what brought out your second caution of tonight. Okay, so we're on board with Glenn Klein there on the outside in the 64 car. The 59 of Brad Fenley just checking up a little bit. So Klein's just got on the brakes, caught too much rear brake, too much correction, and just sent it right hand straight into the fence. Brett Campbell or Tristan Koch, so that was Brett Campbell, very lucky to make his way through the inside there, and Michael Shaw, just the unlucky bystander, getting absolutely cleaned up. So Michael Shaw, a long night back for him tonight here at Phoenix, as we've only just gone nearly 10 laps in, Paul. We're already 2 cautions in. Hopefully we're not seeing a repeat of what we've seen the last couple of rounds. I can say, though, in defence to these drivers, that Phoenix Raceway, whether you have cold tyres or hot tyres, is not the easiest track to navigate around, as you do have that extra corner. But not only that, it is a smaller track in a 1 mile track and a lot flatter than usual. So you don't have that big high banking. So that throttle control is very important here to be able to keep the car on the track. But it is Darren McKenzie and Adam Malone first and second. Ruben Phelps has just gone into pit lane. So it looks like Ruben's just gone in for a little bit of drink. Little bit of a drink of petrol or go-go juice. So Ruben Phelps has gone into pit lane. Looks like Brett Campbell, his teammate, has done that also and copied that. So they'll be topping up on fuel, just trying to extend that run at some stage that they're going to have to double stint a set of tyres, just trying to extend their runs earlier so their stops are shorter later. But mind you, keep in mind, if we do go green for extended period of times here, all of those strategies will not come into play. It's, if we do have cautions late, it's who's got the tyres at the end. But a lot to get through, 190 laps to go through yet before we get to any of those situations. But we can bring a little bit of trivia for you. I have my beautiful partner Prue working in the background, creating some trivia for us. Of course, I've got all the answers, but I'm not going to tell you what they are, obviously, Paul, because that'd be cheating. Let us know if you want to see the InterSim Esports Network Friday night trivia here. We'll be sure to keep your company under caution. There will be only bragging rights up for grabs and our virtual points, but we might have to create a virtual tally board, Paul, I think, moving into the next couple of rounds, so we can actually bring up a tally board for the viewers and see where they're standing. So it's our own InterSim Esports Network trivia tally board across all our leagues that we broadcast. I reckon that's a good idea. But we can see all the people tuning in here on the InterSim Esports Network. Great to have you. Good to see you tonight, Ryan. Good to race you last night, mate. Good, solid effort. So good to see you here tuning in and supporting your old man. Hopefully he has a good run tonight. He is currently sitting in the 5th position. He's up 3 spots on his starting position. So it's Southern Stars Esports Racing 1, 2 and 5 at the moment, as the pace car lights are off and we're going to go green for the 3rd time tonight, only 11 laps into 200. Once again, Southern Stars Racing Esports Racing front row lockout. It'll be Tim Weston and Maxi Marshall off the 2nd row, Greg Spencer and Andy Barber off that 3rd row. You can see Norman Clark and Matt Payton off the 4th row as well. Brad Fenley, Tom Pritchard rounding out your 10 as we negotiate, or as they negotiate the last corner coming onto the main straight. Adam Malone trying to get that jump on the outside. Looks like he went a little bit too early there and expected it to happen too early. Andy Barber, he's getting passed on the inside there by Maxi Marshall. Not sure whether that's allowed, so good to see Maxi Marshall just pull out of that one, but now it is gloves off and race for it. Andy Barber getting a good run and good drive out of turn number 2 there on the outside of Greg Spencer. They make their way down into the very tricky turn number 3. This is the turn that will eat the front right tyres around Phoenix. So you'll see the lap times generally, they'll go down over a long run, approximately a second to just over a second a lap over their long runs. So it is going to be a war of tyre attrition tonight around Phoenix Raceway. Who can manage those the best? We saw Darren McKenzie, as I said, get away with that last night and come home with the chocolates for the Full Throttle Sim Racing League's Truck Series, and he's leading the way once again here early in this one. But Andy Barber now has Norman Clark to deal with. So Norman's now making a couple of moves up the field. And so Andy Barber's now got Norman Clark over the back of him as well. So Andy... Yes, I know. He's up a few. Andy's up a few. But the big... Tom's in front of Norman. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong driver. Yell at me, Paul. Yell at me. Keep me in check because you need to. Tom! All right, it's Tom Pritchard, everyone. For those who didn't know, Paul's screaming at me saying it's Tom. So it's Tom Pritchard in a 6. I can't see a number 6 for a 5. So, and you're trusting me with the Sim Esports Network trivia, so go figure. Darren McKenzie. There's the 5. Okay, now I can call the right car. Not like I did the other round, the other week, Paul, in the Procar GTE series where I had to call the last lap twice. That was in good form by Aiden that night, so go Aiden. But Matt Payton now trying to get the move done on Greg Spencer through turn number 2, and he gets that one done over his Pinnacle Esports teammates. And Matty Payton now moving up into the 4th position. But, Paul, now we have a little bit of stability here, 16 into 200. We saw him a little bit loose down into the final turn. Greg Spencer and Matt Payton having a good run early in this one. Good to see those boys up and contending for the back end of the podium early on.
Yeah, Matty Payton looks like he's got a bit of pace out here tonight. He looks like he's ranging up there on the back of Tim Weston. But I think the top 3 just starting to slowly build out a little bit of a gap over the rest of the field.
Yeah, he is. Tim, what do we got there? We've got the gaps around pretty much the top 5 and 6 is pretty much stagnant at the moment. Darren McKenzie's got that 8/10 on the rest of the field at the moment. Tim Weston doing a great job in 3rd. Derek Jacobs, Paul's just jumped into the chat and said his ex-wife cut his brake lines here in Phoenix. So he reckons his ex-wife has cut his brake lines. That's why he has had his incident early on in this one. So he's now extended your conversation from talking about his girlfriend up in the stands to now his ex-wife over cutting his brake lines here at Phoenix. So his ex-wife might have seen your conversation last week about his girlfriend in the virtual stands for what was round 4. But Darren McKenzie still leading the way here. He's nearly gapped Adam Malone by a second here, 5/10 of a second back to Tim Weston. Matt Payton is 2/10 rather in 4th position. And here's Matty Payton now going up the inside of Tim Weston. So that's a change for 3rd position. So Matt Payton now up into the 3rd position. He's showing some great speed in the 587 around Phoenix tonight. So he's up 10 places on his starting position. We'll see whether he is wearing his gear out too early in this one, but he definitely has some pace. Last lap around, he was on pace with your current leader of Darren McKenzie. He was about a tenth and a half quicker than Adam Malone, just in front of him. He's sitting that car around about mid-track as opposed to pinching it down to the yellow line. That will help him a little bit on tyre wear, depending on how he's got his brake bias set up. You can't change a lot here on the cars, ladies and gentlemen. It is a fixed setup race, so everybody has the same setup that is running tonight. You can change your steering ratio. You can make it shorter. You can make it wider. You can change your brake bias. You can put it more towards the front, more towards the rear. I'd strongly suggest around here they have wound them back to the rear a little bit to allow that car to rotate. But that can make it very tricky as well, especially as you go long on a run with worn tyres and a low fuel tank. You've got to be very tricky not to have the back end of your car catch up and overtake the front. So we will see how that plays out. But good to see the guys have settled down a little bit. 23 into 200, Paul. We've seen a bit of green flag racing. So Ruben Phelps now trying to make his way back up through the field after making that pit stop. That's him just getting the move done on Jamie Nan-Curvis. So Ruben Phelps now up into 11th position. He's been, it's not showing at the moment. He was in pit lane on lap 10, so he came under that last caution. So He wouldn't have taken tyres in that one. It would have just been fuel. But the next on the agenda for him is Brad Fenley. So you can see Brad just off up into the distance there. Norman Clark in front of him. So your third starting position driver tonight, the 06 of Ruben Phelps from Aussie Esports, making his way back up through the field. We saw he had a lot of pace through practice, taking the first position in practice. Couldn't quite convert that to a pole position tonight. Started off the third position behind Adam Malone, or Darren McKenzie and Adam Malone, but he's showing a lot of pace here in the 06 car as he did in the trucks last night. But on board we go back to the 61 of Tim Weston from Bin Chicane Racing. Tim Weston has had some really solid races, not only in the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series, but he is a big supporter of the Full Throttle Sim Racing Leagues across their Cup and Truck Series, and also Truck Series on a Sunday morning, which is an open one, and he's been doing very, very well. I actually think the Truck Series that we ran last night, he is third in the championship behind me, which is your leader. But anyway, we'll just say that, a little bit of self-promotion. But back with Norman Clark there. So Norman Clark just holding down that ninth position. Brad Fenley and Ruben Phelps going for it a little bit. Ruben's going to want to get this job done pretty quickly here to not chew up his tyres, because running side by side around here and trying to get these jobs done, longer it takes you, the more and more you're going to chew up your tyres. So Ruben's going to want to get this one done quickly. But if you just keep on board here, as they go through the third and final turn, you'll see Ruben will take the cut here down underneath the yellow line. You can see him do that right now. Now the rule is, ladies and gentlemen, when the driver decides to go down on that inside line under the yellow, it is not on the driver on the outside to allow him back up. The driver on the inside must rejoin the racetrack safely. Brad Fenley there let that one go pretty easily, but as this race hots up into the back end and we see people try and make those little moves down through the inside of that, what I call a tri-oval, don't be surprised if we get a few elbows out. But you can see guys just taking different lines through that tri-oval. I tried both myself last night, Paul. I know you've done a lot of laps around Phoenix, as I have as well. I generally find not going through that tri-oval is better, but everyone's got their cars set differently to how they like them, so we'll see how it plays out as it goes on. Maxi Marshall, after starting in the 6th position, he's just dropped down 1 position now, make that 2 as Tom Pritchard gets the job done on him. So Tom Pritchard, coming off an 8th position last night, up into the 7th position, hasn't quite got that done as Maxi Marshall holds tough there on the outside through the 2nd turn. Tom Pritchard getting the run off the 2nd turn. We'll see whether he can clear him down in turn number 3. Tom Pritchard very deep on brakes there into turn number 3. Watch Norman Clark become part of this battle as well. So Norman Clark taking a very shallow line out of 3 there. Norman Clark coming up onto the back of the battle. Norman Clark, Ruben Phelps is up onto the back of Norman as well, and he's made that job done on Norman Clark. So blink and you miss it, ladies and gentlemen. Ruben Phelps now up into the 9th position, and he has Maxi Marshall and Tom Pritchard in his sights. They're going to be the next 2 he will tick off his list. Can he get that job done though? He would have worked that car pretty hard trying to make these moves early in this one. Will it plateau, and will he just sort of sit stagnant there as these guys in these positions we can see he's fighting for might just be saving a little bit of tyre? But at the front it is Darren McKenzie as Ruben Phelps looks like he's going to get that job done on Maxi Marshall. Down into turn number 3 once again they go. We'll see whether Ruben can clear him through this corner. It looks like he's got that done nice and easily. Norman Clark just having a little bit of a sneaky look up the inside there. We'll see whether he can get that done as they make their way down through turn 2 into turn 3. Not close enough this time. So the 09 will just tuck in behind the 7 of Maxi Marshall and set him up for another crack in the coming laps. But Darren McKenzie at the front, ladies and gentlemen, has 2.8 seconds the better over his teammate of Adam Malone. So Darren McKenzie has led all of your 34 of 200 laps here around Phoenix tonight. It's a track he must like. He's coming off a win last night, as I said, and he is looking good early in this one, but we're not even quarter of the way. So he's just put 3 seconds on Adam Malone in second. Matt Payton's now a further 3 seconds or 3.3 seconds behind Adam Malone, and Greg Spencer is 1.2 seconds off the back as well. So it's Southern Stars Esports Racing 1 and 2, Pinnacle Esports Racing in 3 and 4. Tim Weston and Andy Barber having a little bit of a battle here now. So Andy Barber gets that job done on Tim Weston and moves up into the 5th position. So the Southern Stars Esports Racing guys tonight, Paul, 3 of your top 5 positions at the moment. They're looking very racy.
Yeah, definitely, and they're looking pretty quick in qualifying as well, so they're doing a good job there, having 3 of their cars up in the top 5 there. Definitely a strong showing from them tonight.
They are, and they are definitely having a strong showing, and they're very hard to miss because how good do those cars look? And that's all thanks to Andy Barber himself, the man on screen at the moment. He is the man behind the designs of the Southern Stars Esports Racing team, and what a sensational looking livery they do have. So it is Darren McKenzie, Adam Malone, Matt Payton, Greg Spencer, and Andy Barber, your 5. Tim Weston, Tom Pritchard, Ruben Phelps, Maxie Marshall, and Norman Clark, your 10. We'll just have a little bit of downtime, ladies and gentlemen, as we get racy at the front here, and Andy Barber ranges up on the back of this battle between Greg Spencer and Matt Payton. Let's go on board with the 5 of Andy Barber and see whether he can get the job done on board with the number 5 Southern Stars Esports Racing outfit. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. As quick as you blink, you miss it. A couple of laps around Phoenix Raceway on board with the number 5 Southern Stars Racing entry of Andy Barber. I tell you what, as soon as we went on board with him there, he got very loose into the turn 2 turn. So very good catch there by the number 5 of Andy Barber. But Matt Payton, the story of the night that moved up very quickly. He's already up 8 spots on his starting position. Looks like he has gone way too hard too quickly as he is falling back into the clutches of Tim Weston, Ruben Phelps and Tom Pritchard. And they're going to get this job done very easily as Matt Payton is feeling the pain of worn tyres. In saying that though, Ruben Phelps going below the yellow line trying to get that car rotated underneath Tim Weston. They are dropping back a gear, as you saw when we were on board with Andy Barber. So the NASCAR Next Gens, as Tom Pritchard goes right into the back of Ruben Phelps, and the guys did a good job not having that one end in tears. So Ruben Phelps will have to reset, as will Tom Pritchard, and go again. No doubt Tom has been onto the channel with Ruben Phelps and said, sorry for that one, Ruben, eyes forward. So all's fair in love and war, and we keep going, the 06 of Ruben Phelps. So it looks like that Tim Weston's got that job done. Tim Weston got that job done just before we've gone under yellow. It looks like somebody had a blow up in the background, blew an engine. That's the 117 and Matty Simpson. We could see Greg Spencer left stranded there on the outside after having a good run in this one early. But let's go back to the Inside Lane Productions replay and have a look at what brought out the third caution of tonight, lap 43 of 200. Okay, so Matty Simpson up into the wall there, down the back stretch out of turn number 2. Getting very wobbly, trying to save it. We'll see whether he has more contact with the wall. I'd suggest he does with the way that his car looked when we went to him before. He's going to have a big lick into the outside of turn number 3 there. All 4 wheels coming off the ground. Greg Spencer in no man's land, nowhere to go. just plows straight into the side of Matty Simpson, turns around that 29 Pinnacle Esports car. Andy Barber trying to get out of the road. Will he miss it? No, he's going to go straight into the wall as well. So Andy Barber in the number 5, after a solid run up inside the top 5, has taken extensive damage to the outside of, or the right-hand side of that number 5 entry. So unfortunate there for Andy Barber after having a really good run in this race early. Ryan Barber, his son's just jumped in and gone, called too soon. BS. Not going to actually say the word. You can understand what I mean. But Paul, third caution of the night. It's now given us a little bit of activity through pit lane as we see all the guys at the front, pretty much 3/4 of the field, coming in and making their way through pit lane at the moment. I would strongly suggest that a lot of these guys are taking their first set of tyres. So that'll only leave them one set of tyres for the rest of the race over the wall. So as I said, ladies and gentlemen, they will have to double stint. When are they going to double stint? But at the moment, lap 44 is the number that Darren McKenzie came in. He hasn't been through pit lane yet. That could just be a top-up, though. He had a bit of pace there in the 0-2 car. He'd gapped Adam Malone by almost 4 seconds when that caution came out. So he might be feeling comfortable. We'll see when he what his strategy is when this race plays out. We'll soon know when we go back to green who did take tyres and who didn't, as it looks like Derek Jacobs is still circulating around there. He had time to talk to us here on the broadcast in the chat. It looks like his ex-wife has replaced those brake lines after cutting them. So he's back out there and circulating in this one. But we only have about 15 cars on the lead lap at the moment as they circulate through pit lane. But it will be Darren McKenzie and Adam Malone which will lead us away once again. When we do go green, Derek Jacobs will get waved by the pace car. But Paul, 46 laps out of 200, third caution of the night. We had 2 early cautions, a nice little solid green flag run there to almost get a quarter of the way through the 200 laps tonight.
Yeah, it was definitely good to see some quite a long green flag running there, and I'm sure the guys would have enjoyed having a bit of green flag racing there as well. We saw a few people with a bit of pace on track, Matty Patton and even Ruben Phelps as he was coming from the back through the field once again, showing they had a bit of pace tonight.
Yeah, most definitely. But let's take the opportunity as they're about to go green. I'll give you the question for the first InterSim Esports Network trivia question tonight, Paul, and all the viewers tuning in here on the InterSim Esports Network. So I'll give you the question quickly before we go green. So your first question of the night is, what type of plant is pictured in the Phoenix Raceway logo? It's a multiple choice. A cactus, B, a palm tree, or C, a coconut?
Can I jump in on this?
Yes, you can. As we're about to go green, jump in, mate, before we get going. Jump in, give me your answer.
Well, it's definitely a cactus, because there's a few cactus cars in the pit lane tonight as well.
I knew you'd come up with something like that, mate. I thought you were going to give me a legitimate answer, but I was kidding myself here, mate. So I'm not going to tell you because we've got to wait for people to jump in. But Darren McKenzie does lead the way once again off this restart from his teammate Adam Malone. Reese Clayton's now moved up into the third position. Reese Clayton up 19 spots after starting the 22nd spot. He last came through pit lane on lap number 1, so that's why he's made his way up in the order. So interesting to see how his tyre wear's going there in the 014 entry. Looks okay at the moment, so it looks like these guys haven't taken tyres at the front, otherwise Clayton would be driving away. But we go caution for the 4th time tonight, Paul, 49 of 200. As they say, cautions breed cautions, and we're cautioned for the 4th time tonight. We'll go, of course, to the Inside Lane Productions instant replay and show you what brought out the 4th caution of tonight, a quarter of the way through the 200 laps around Phoenix. So we'll just bring up that replay for you right now, and thank you so much to Inside Lane Productions for providing the replay here for the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series. Matt Payton on the outside there, Derek Jacobs there as well. Derek Jacobs and Tristan Koch involved in that one. Tristan running a different livery tonight, not his Aussie Esports livery. Tristan's just tagged the back of the 99 of Derek Jacobs and turned him around. Derek's done well to keep that off the wall, just gives it a little bit of jandle, as they say, just before he backs it into the wall and keeps it off the concrete. So that's what brought out your caution. But back to the Indosim Esports Network Friday night, useless trivia. And the question was, we've had Steve Hoppett answer as well so far. So everyone, give us your answer, because I'll read out the question one more time. It is multiple choice, as we see Reese Clayton in pit lane. So what type of plant is pictured in the Phoenix Raceway logo? Is it A, a cactus? Is it B, a palm tree? Or is it C, a coconut? So Steve Hoppett has jumped in and he believes it's a cactus.
Well,
Paul
Aiden
believes it's a cactus.
Aiden, don't coconuts grow on palm trees?
Actually, now you're getting technical. Now you're getting me for my own questions. That's not the question. The question isn't do coconuts grow on palm trees? The question is, what's the logo? So I'll get you back. So
well, a coconut tree is a palm tree, so how can it be another option?
What if the coconut dropped off the palm tree? Then it's one coconut, not a palm tree anymore.
Well, it's not a tree then, is it?
Well, it's a coconut. We're talking about a logo. You're confusing myself. It's easy enough to confuse me, mate, without your hindrance in the background. But anyway, back to the question. Come on, guys, give us your answers. Steve Hoppett has answered cactus. So one more time, what type of plant is pictured in the Phoenix Raceway logo? Is it a cactus, a palm tree, or a coconut? And yes, coconuts come from palm trees. Paul made me well aware of that. Yeah, so hope you're enjoying the broadcast. Steve Hoppett said cactus. We'll wait another couple of minutes for people to type what their answer is. Hopefully people are off there Googling. No doubt they are. But it is Darren McKenzie going back to the motor race. Darren McKenzie leading the way. Once again, he's led all 52 of these 200 laps so far. It has been a 0-2 show at the front of this one. Let's not count out, though. Adam Malone's been having a solid drive. He is up into P2. He's been in P2 all night. But have a look who's made his way back up into third position. It is Ruben Phelps from Aussie Esports. So they're now all on the same strategies, these guys. Everyone in the top 9 last came into pit lane on lap number 44. We'll run through your top 10 and how they will come back to green here at Phoenix for the next 150 laps. Will we go green or will we won't? We've had 4 cautions tonight. Time will tell. So your top 10 coming back to the green as the pace car lights are off. It'll be Darren McKenzie, Adam Malone, Ruben Phelps, Tim Weston and Tom Pritchard, your 5. Kobe Jordan, Norman Clark, JB Nankervis, Brett Campbell and Reese Clayton will round out your 10. Coming back into the... coming back to the green. Mandy's tuned into the broadcast. Mandy Phelps, Ruben's mum. Good to see you, Mandy. Hopefully he can thank you at the end of the broadcast with a podium. I'm backing him, obviously, as his teammate, but we'll see how Ruben goes. But it is Darren McKenzie and Adam Malone from the front row for the 5th restart tonight. It is Ruben Phelps, Tim Weston off the 2nd row, Tom Pritchard, Kobe Jordan off the 3rd row. So it's Australia 1 and 2, New Zealand, Australia 3 and 4. Our American Derek Jacobs is having a hard night at the office, but it's all about the Southern Stars Esports Racing guys at the moment. Darren McKenzie and Adam Malone will bring us to the green this time around for lap 53 of 200 around Phoenix. And we are green once again. Adam Malone with a lot better start there on the outside than we've seen previously on the last couple of restarts. But Darren McKenzie looks like he's just had enough to jump him there into turn number 2. Ruben Phelps right up behind Adam Malone there in the 3rd position. Look out for Tommy Pritchard in the 4th position. He'll be making his way up the field. He's had a solid night, as I said, coming off an 8th position last night. Tim Weston there in 5th. Brett Campbell, last week's first winner. He's now well inside the top 10 in 8th position. He's got Matt Payton all over the back of him, and Todd May looking like he wanted to make a move there. As Matt Payton's going to lose it. Oh, what a save there by Matt Payton through turn number 2. Brett Campbell just opened that steering wheel and Todd May's collected Matt Payton. Todd May's involved in that, and it looked like Reece Clayton's involved in that, and Derek Jacobs, he's seen more hits tonight than Elvis, and he is into the wall again. So Derek Jacobs, I'm not sure there's going to be any wheels left on that 99 Southern Stars Esports racing car as we get on with this one. But we'll go back to the Inside Lane Productions replay and just watch that again and see exactly how that played out as Matt Payton got a little bit of a tap there by the looks of it on the inside of Todd May through turn two that time round. So you can see Matt Payton got very loose through the previous corner and through the entry of the corner, rather. Brett Campbell's just maintained his line on the outside. Todd May on the inside of Matt Payton. Matt just trying to come down. It looks like Matt's still getting loose there. So Matt was already losing the back end of that car when he got contact made on the left-hand rear, which has really just finished him off. So Matt Payton, not the way he wanted to, not start his night, not the way that he wanted to have his first incident of the night after being right up the field early in this one, as Derek Jacobs just has a big tank slapper in the background trying to avoid it. So we're having people tune in to the broadcast. Mandy Phelps and Steve Hoppert have said cactus. So I'll just remind you of the question. We'll give you the answer right now as their caution, as we are under caution once again. So the first question of the night for your useless trivia here on the InterSim Esports Network was, what type of plant is pictured in the Phoenix Raceway logo? Your options were A, a cactus, B, a palm tree, or C, a coconut. Mandy Phelps, Ruben's mother, has gone for a cactus. Steve Hoppert has gone for a cactus. Paul has gone for a cactus for no reason other than there was no sense to his answer at all. He's no sense to Paul ever. Just cactus, he says.
A few cars cactus in pit lane. That was my answer.
A few cars were cactus in pit lane. So that's his theory on why it's cactus. And he's trying to tell me that coconuts and palm trees and trees, it's just all too confusing. So the answer for you as I babble on is actually a palm tree. So no one said coconut, so they can't even get you on a technicality, Paul. So there you go. So it is a palm tree. So the logo, the plant on the logo of Phoenix Raceway is a palm tree. So there you go. Go to bed nice and easy tonight, ladies and gentlemen. While you're sleeping tonight, dream of those palm trees. Probably like I'd want to be right now over on an island somewhere with... Oh, it's cactus. Prue's written it down wrong. Oh, no. Cactus. How the hell? Prue, can you please explain to the viewers here how you just absolutely threw me under a bus?
Oh, there's a speed bump and Aiden just going under the bus there. But
you know the funniest thing about that, Paul?
What's that?
She actually circled the answer and I still got it wrong.
So she circled cactus, but you said palm tree because you're thinking Miami, and we're not in Miami. And I won't say the last part to we're not in Miami.
I reckon I just give up with one answer. But anyway, Mandy Phelps and Steve Hoppert and yourself got it right. So there you go. Rewind that. We'll cut that bit out of the broadcast. Oh, hang on. We're live. We can't do that. But we're about to go green once again. I hope you're enjoying the broadcast and all our shenanigans here on the InterSim Esports Network. Adam Malone, Darren McKenzie off the front row. It will be Darren McKenzie. Once again, Ruben Phelps there in the second row with Tommy Pritchard as we're going to come to green once again. Who is going to have something for Darren McKenzie? Will it be his teammate of Adam Malone, or will it be Ruben Phelps? Could it be Tom Pritchard, Tim Weston, or Kobe Jordan? Andy Barber and Brad Fenley came down pit lane on lap 50 as well. They may have taken that set of tyres, but looking at their pit time, probably not. But let's, or they could have actually with that. But let's have a look at that as we go green and see how this plays out. Once again, it is Darren McKenzie with the jump off the front row. Adam Malone just tucks down right behind him. Ruben Phelps had to fight a little bit from Tom Pritchard there to clear him into the third position. So Ruben Phelps now in a Southern Stars Esport Racing sandwich as Norman Clark's getting very racy with Tom Pritchard. Kobe Jordan's got the job done on the outside, up into the top five, and we go caution once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is for the fifth time tonight. and we'll go back and have a look at the Inside Lane Productions instant replay. Inside Lane Productions sponsoring the replay. They're getting a lot of airtime tonight here on the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series from Phoenix Raceway. Todd May's your driver. We're on board with him as he makes his way through the through the third turn. He's caught the apron through the exit, and that's just turned around the 96 car. No harm, no foul, no contact there for the 96 of Todd May, but that's what's brought out your fifth caution, I believe, Paul, of tonight, as we're just over a quarter way through. But you know what that means? It's another time for Aiden to stuff up an InterSim Esports Network trivia question, Paul. So it's the second time we can do that. We can't do the length because we did that in our previous caution. We'll just see whether anyone blinks in the black background in pit lane. Todd May is in pit lane at the moment, so we'll keep you up to date with that as they roll around under the pace car, as I'm just reading a question, trying to talk at the same time. So as per usual, Aiden can't do two things at once. So who holds the race lap record at Phoenix Raceway? In any car. Any car. Who holds the lap record, the overall lap record at Phoenix Raceway? So the answer's not circled this time, so I might not stuff it up. I stuffed up the one which was apparent to me, so this time I probably won't. So Paul, as always, as my co-commentator and broadcaster, your first cab off the rank, mate. Don't Google it. Who holds the fastest lap, the outright fastest lap around Phoenix Raceway, or the race lap record?
Well, it's definitely not me because I'm slow at Phoenix. I am going to have to say, yeah, Kyle Petty? I don't know.
Kyle Petty, you've gone. Kyle Petty. That's a absolute amazing NASCAR driver from the earlier era there, Paul. Kyle Petty, so he was very quick. Margaret Shannon's jumped in. She said Dale Earnhardt. I will give you a little bit of a tip. It's in any car. It doesn't have to be a NASCAR. It's in any car. So who holds the outright lap record at Phoenix Raceway? So you can have another shot at it, Paul, and everyone else can have another shot at it. It doesn't have to be NASCAR, but I think I've just given you a hint that it is not a NASCAR driver.
Well, as soon as you said that, because you reiterated that, I started thinking Indy cars. So Steve Hoppert there going for Tony Stewart. But yeah, I'm thinking along the line of Indy cars now. So
and please promise, guys, do not Google it. It makes it even more fun here on the InterSim Esports Network. I get the questions wrong when the answers are written down in front of me, so it's okay. But
maybe we need more multiple choice answers here, A, B, or C.
I can tell you this driver. All right, I'll give you you're going to get the answer as the lights are out on the pace car. So have a think about it while we go green again here for the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series. But I can tell you that this driver had a very famous victory this year. So that's all I'm going to say. He's had a very famous victory this year. So Darren McKenzie will be bringing us to the green again for the sixth time tonight. Yes, I think it was the fifth caution tonight, as I believe. But Darren McKenzie will bring us to the green once again at status quo at the front. Adam Malone on the outside of that front row from Ruben Phelps and Tom Pritchard. Look out for Kobe Jordan and Tim Weston. Do they have anything for these front guys? Norman Clark, your championship leader, over Andy Barber. Still holding on for 8th position after that contact early in this one. So we will see how the boys go. Only 14 cars on the lead lap at the moment as we're just over a quarter of the way through your 200, ladies and gentlemen. And Darren McKenzie puts the foot down and leaves nice and early out of turn number 3 and takes the green for the 6th time tonight. Adam Malone again with a good jump there on the outside of the first row. Tom Pritchard trying to hold it tight, tough there on the outside of Ruben Phelps. Ruben Phelps just gets that one done. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 status quo at the moment. Tim Weston in the 5th position. Norman Clark not having it all his own way at the moment in 7th position. He's got Andy Barber just in front of him and Kobe Jordan on the outside. So Norman Clark, he's been running that shallow line all night, Paul. I haven't really seen him drift the 09 car up to the wall out on the exit of turn number 3 around Phoenix tonight. So don't know whether he knows something we don't in the 09 or whether he's just getting boxed down there at the moment. So he hasn't been moving the car up out of turn number 3. So he won't be able to do it this time around, as Kobe Jordan will get the run on the outside with being able to put his foot down just that little bit earlier. But it looks like Norman Clark's about to get that job done, as Brett Campbell having a solid run again. He's up into 9th position. Brett Campbell, last week's winner, the first time we saw him. Oh, as he goes low onto the apron there, as I put the commentator's curse on him. Brett Campbell, last week's winner, first time in the victory or on the podium, let alone the victory last night. But back to Andy Barber, Kobe Jordan on the outside. Kobe really making that outside work at the moment, getting that job done or almost done over Kobe Jordan. But now Tim Weston's going to play a part in this one as well and slow up Kobe Jordan's run on that outside line. Kobe Jordan having a great run. I'd suggest Kobe Jordan has new tyres underneath him, but in saying that, he was last in pit lane on lap 44. He was only stationary for 9.92 seconds. So I'd strongly suggest he may not have had tyres. I know Andy Barber has a little bit of damage, so that won't be helping him. But ladies and gentlemen, the story of the night so far, outside of Darren McKenzie, Adam Malone, Ruben Phelps and Tom Pritchard in your top 4, it is the 0.80 of Kobe Jordan, showing some great pace. So back to our question real quickly as this settles down. Kyle Busch is an answer that we've had. Not Mark McDowell, that won the Daytona 500 this year.
Scott Dixon.
And Paul's got... Paul, if you want to have one more guess, because I'm about to give you the answer, ladies and gentlemen.
Scott Dixon.
So Paul's just jumped in and said Scott Dixon. Well, I can tell you all that yous are incorrect. It was an IndyCar driver, and it was Helio Castro Neves who won the Indy 500 this year for the 4th time. So Helio Castro Neves from Team Penske actually holds the all-time lap record around Phoenix Raceway. As we've got a battle for the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Malone really showing pace in this run on the 0-2 of Darren McKenzie. Darren might have gone a little bit hard too early in that big, long green flag run. He pulled out 3 seconds on Adam Malone, and it looks like Adam's got the pace on Darren at the moment. But they're going to play teamwork here. They won't do anything silly. They'll probably, unless Adam's got absolute drastic pace over the 0-2, I'd suggest they'll use a little bit of teamwork, because Ruben Phelps is dropping off. He's under fire from Tom Pritchard, and now Kobe Jordan has caught this battle as well. So here's the battle for the minors at the moment as we're 73 into 200. Ruben Phelps has a mirror full of Tom Pritchard and Kobe Jordan as they make their way down the back stretch into turn 3 once again. So Tom Pritchard's going to want to make this move done and make it a Southern Stars Esports Racing 1, 2, 3 at the front of this one, but Ruben Phelps definitely won't give it to him easy there in the Aussie Esports entry. And like I said, don't write off Kobe Jordan. He's shown a lot of pace, but have a look who's ranging up in the background there. Brett Campbell moving his way up into P number 6. He gets 1 win under his belt and he hits the hammer. Brett Campbell in the 015. I'd strongly suggest he got tyres in that last stop. But he had a stationary time of 25.03 seconds. So he's got new tyres on the 015. He's on an alternate strategy to some of the other drivers here. Brett Campbell making his way up into the top 5, and he's going to make short work of Tom Pritchard very quickly as they make their way down the back stretch once again. He'll just set him up here into turn number 3 and try and get the run off. Tom Pritchard pinches him down on the inside there. Tom not going to let him get this one done too easily. Brett Campbell erring on the side of caution. They nearly clean each other up through the tri-oval there. So Brett's going to have to be really decisive on this move. Tom Pritchard is not entitled to move out of the ray. So Kobe Jordan's going to look to pounce on Brett Campbell as well. Brett needs to make this pass a lap ahead of himself. He needs to think where he can make this done and get it done cleanly. See how he's ranging up onto the back of Tom Pritchard there. He has that much more mid-corner pace. He should be backing it off into the corner and getting the run off, because as he's propping into that corner, he's losing all the momentum and actually hurting his tyres even more by putting a lot more brake pressure into those front rotors. So we'll see whether Brett can get that one done. As soon as he gets past Pritchard, he'll probably make light work of his teammate Ruben Phelps. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. For the first time tonight, 77 of 200, you have a new leader, and it is the number 4 of Adam Malone taking the lead over Darren McKenzie. So Adam Malone wants to go at the point of this one. It's his turn to lead a couple of laps around Phoenix Raceway. Tell you what, Paul, he's got the number 4 going really well tonight. He dropped off a little bit in that early long green flag run to the side of 3 seconds to Darren McKenzie, but now they've come to this restart and they were stationary for the same period of time under that yellow flag on lap 44. He's just picked up Darren McKenzie and driven away into the distance.
Yeah, definitely looked like maybe Adam was maybe saving a little bit of tyre as he let Darren just run away with the race at the start of the race, and maybe just sitting there being a little bit conservative. And now that he's got the tyres under him, he's go time for Adam.
Yeah, it's definitely go time from Adam. He's made nearly a second on Darren McKenzie at the front. But just having a look here, Kobe Jordan's made the move on Ruben Phelps, Brett Campbell and Tom Pritchard. So Kobe Jordan's now jumped up into P3. Brett Campbell taking a long time to get that job done on Tom Pritchard. He's got the job done on Ruben. He's let him go. Tom Pritchard is making this very hard for Brett, but it looks like he's finally got that job done, and Brett Campbell now jumps up into P4. So we'll see how much that's taken out of Brett Campbell's tyres and whether he has something for Kobe Jordan. Now he's got a little bit of clean air in front of him as they make their way through the second turn. Once again here at Phoenix Raceway. So your 5 is Adam Malone, Darren McKenzie, Kobe Jordan, Brett Campbell and Tom Pritchard. Let's give Brett Campbell a little bit of airtime tonight. Last week's winner and first time winner, the 015 Aussie Esports entry of Brett Campbell. Let's go on board for a couple of laps and take you what it's like around Phoenix Raceway in the 015 of Brett Campbell. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. A couple of laps around Phoenix Raceway on board with the 015 Aussie Esports entry of Brett Campbell. We saw a little bit of a different driving style there by Brett Campbell. We were on board earlier with the number 5 Southern Stars Esports Racing team of Andy Barber, and he was selecting 4th through those turns, and Brett Campbell not doing that. As you could see, it was really bogging down through the corners, so not sure whether that's just how Brett likes driving the car to try and stop that oversteer, but it's not allowing him to come off the corners. It might be saving those tyres, but I tell you what, we've had one of the leaders blink, and it is Darren McKenzie out of the second position. He's made his way into pit lane on lap 83. So he's come out of pit lane at the moment. He's just done that while we're on board with Brett Campbell. He was stationary for 15.25 seconds. So Darren McKenzie's now gone a lap down under these green conditions. He will get that one back. If as these green flag pit stops do cycle through. So he went lap 44 and then lap 83. So possibly about a 40 lap fuel drop here in the NASCAR Next Gens around Phoenix. We'll see how that plays out. Darren McKenzie's got a new set of boots on that 02, and he's going to make his way up the field very, very quickly and get back on that lead lap as he's just made that move now. But Andy Barber and Tom Pritchard's now made their way into pit lane, so they've come out of one of the top places in this race, and they've decided to pit now as well. So that was Andy Barber and Tom Pritchard. The only one left to pit out of the Southern Stars Esports racing team is your leader of Adam Malone, but we'll stay on board. Oh, there we go. We're back with Adam Malone. My apologies. Adam Malone, he's still staying out there at the moment. He's got a 4.3 second lead over Kobe Jordan at the moment. Brett Campbell's caught that gap a little bit on Kobe Jordan. He's brought it down to 0.8 of a second, but this is the man leading the motor race at the moment. Adam Malone, last through pit lane on lap 44, same as his teammate of Darren McKenzie, who came out of second place and have served a pit stop in the last couple of laps. So they're now off strategy. When will Adam Malone decide to pit? The longer he stays out here is the more that Darren McKenzie is going to make up, and Darren will take the lead of this motor race on these numbers if he stays out much longer. So we'll see what happens there. Tom Pritchard just navigating around a little bit of lap traffic there. Tom Pritchard on the fresh rubber in the number 6 there. He's got Andy Barber, his teammate, in front of him up the road at the moment, but Andy Barber is a further 3 seconds up the road of Tom Pritchard. So having a look at their stops just to see what happened there with their gap. The 3 seconds gap they have between each other, that is the time in pit lane. Andy Barber, 15 seconds in pit lane as opposed to Tom Pritchard, who 17 seconds in pit lane. So that's the 3 seconds you can see on screen at the moment. But that gap is dropping rather fast. On board now with Ruben Phelps, the 06 Aussie Esports entry, currently sitting in the 9th position. He's come into pit lane on lap 82 himself as well. So he's on lap 82. Darren McKenzie, lap 83. So just that lap earlier than Darren McKenzie. Tim Weston, you can see in front of him, came through pit lane on 76. So not a big difference in tyre deg here between this little battle, but 6 laps is definitely a little bit as you see the drop-off happen after about 4 or 5 laps. It only needs to be a 10th or 2, and that's what you see on your screen right now, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, as Ruben Phelps gets really loose out of turn number 2, and he did a great job to save that one. That was nearly going to bring out another caution tonight. That's not going to help his rear tyres, Paul, as he got really loose out of turn 2 that time round.
Definitely not, but good save there for Ruben. But Brad Fenley up into P4 now as he's making his way into pit lane by the looks of it. So Brad Fenley coming in, probably get a new set of tyres there as well under his car.
Yeah, good job by Brad Fenley tonight. As we said earlier in the broadcast, he's coming off a podium last week. It'd been a long time between drinks since Brad Fenley come into the broadcast booth and got that 59 entry up into the podium. He's looking pretty strong tonight. He's off strategy a little bit with the front guys, only by a couple of laps, about that 7 to 10 laps. So Brad Fenley, don't write him off as we go into the back end of this race, or the midway to back end of the race. Adam Malone's still out there at the front. He's now extended his wings. He's 4.8 seconds in front of Kobe Jordan. Brett Campbell still trying to get that job done on Kobe Jordan, who's currently in the 3rd position. Only 5 cars on the lead lap at the moment. We'll see that change. My live timing's just changed in front of me. So 3 on the lead lap, it's saying on the tower, but my live timing's saying 5. So that'll change when they go across the line, hopefully, unless I'm wrong because it's not circled for me. Okay, so we've got 3 on the lead lap at the moment, so forget what I'm saying, but Brett Campbell getting that job done, trying to get it done on Kobe Jordan as they nearly make contact through turn number 2, but Brett Campbell looks like he's going to get that job done. He's going to be on the better side of the racetrack turn into turn number 3. He'll navigate his way past the lap traffic, and Brett Campbell, last week's winner, now up into 2nd position of this motor race, and the next one on his agenda is Adam Malone, your leader. And if he takes this position, Brett Campbell will get back to the point. We'll just have a look at that gap. But I'm sure any lap now we'll see Adam Malone come into pit lane. Adam Malone is now running these tyres, so I'd suggest he is still on his first set of tyres, ladies and gentlemen, as we're nearly halfway through this motor race. You can see Brett Campbell's just 5 seconds behind at the moment. That's Darren McKenzie behind Adam Malone right there. So Darren McKenzie will get his lap back as he makes this move on Adam Malone for he'll be in actually 4th position when he makes this move. So it's a little bit confusing here, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get confused with all those cars a lap down, because that's going to change as this race progresses and people come into pit lane. But I tell you, the man in the box seat at the moment is Darren McKenzie, sitting in that 4th position. He's got a nice little gap over anyone behind him. And when Adam Malone decides to come into pits and take his service through pit lane, Darren McKenzie will be the leader of this motor race once again. But Adam Malone, he's sticking out there as long as he can. This is going to help Adam Malone in the back end of this race, especially if we have late cautions. And ladies and gentlemen, we are used to late race cautions here for the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series. Don't get surprised if we see that again tonight, but I tell you what, we're 100 laps down. We've just clicked the halfway mark, and we've got another 100 laps to bring to you here on the InterSim Esports Network. And here's the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Malone has blinked. So 100 laps was his mark. So he's going to chop this last 2 stints into 50 laps. So unless he's already he'll have to take his set of tyres here, and he'll have another set of tyres, I'd suggest, for his next stop. So Adam Malone, in regards to pace and new tyre strategy, has a really, really good strategy happening here. But Brett Campbell, that means, has now taken the lead of this motor race, and Brett Campbell's going to have a bonus point sitting up there in 1st place. Steve Hoppett's just jumped in and said, I hope Brett hasn't peaked too early. Ryan Barber's jumped in the chat as well and says, what a start from Brett, I reckon. Could work out for a good result. Hopefully it will there, Ryan. Hopefully your old man can get up there and have a solid result as well. He's just sitting in 6th position at the moment as Kobe Jordan made the move on Brett Campbell. So now Kobe Jordan wants to lead a couple of laps of this motor race, and he will do that. So it looks like Brett used up a little bit of tyre there, and Kobe just sat there a little bit longer in behind. He is on tyres that are about... Well, he come through on lap 44. He was stationary for 9.92 seconds. So I'd strongly suggest that Kobe Jordan hasn't taken a set of tyres either here at the front. So Kobe Jordan on a really good strategy, as is Adam Malone. So keep one eye on Kobe Jordan. Ruben Phelps is sitting back there in 4th position, but it's all about Kobe Jordan at the moment at the front. Darren McKenzie in 3rd place. So Darren McKenzie is only 15 seconds down on the actual lead of this motor race without Kobe Jordan coming into pit lane. Brett Campbell's going to run a little bit longer, as we see Norman Clark now having a little bit of a battle. He's moving up the inside there of was that Mark Johansson? We haven't spoken about Mark Johansson tonight. He's making the move on Tim Weston now as well. So Norman Clark, your championship leader, making moves in this one as we've just hit the halfway mark. That moves Norman up into the 6th position. The next one on his agenda will be Andy Barber. He's a further second down the road. That's what a second looks like here at Phoenix Raceway, ladies and gentlemen. So Andy Barber through pit lane on lap 87. Norman Clark through pit lane on lap 91. So 4 laps different, the tyres. Plus Andy Barber's sporting a couple of battle scars there in the number 5 Southern Stars Racing outfit. So that won't be helping his overall pace, as he would have got his optional repairs done. If you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, the people tuning in here on the InterSim Esports Network will give you a little bit of an insight into optional and required repairs. It is pretty much as it says. So if they've got no fast repairs in this league. So a fast repair is obviously if you come into pit lane and you have damage, it'll automatically fix you back to a brand new car. This league does not have fast repairs. So if they get damage, it might say, let's for example, Andy Barber hit the wall like he did. He might have had 30 seconds worth of damage that it took the pit crew to repair. Now that's optional repairs. You don't have to take them, but you'd be crazy not to. But that doesn't put your car back to brand new. You're still going to be sporting damage. It just makes it able to drive and able to circulate. So that's where you can see a little bit of a difference, and it's really important to keep the car as clean as possible for as long as possible, hopefully the whole race, and that'll put you in a good position to win. So Andy Barber now just going around the outside of Kobe Jordan there, Norman Clark following suit. So it is currently still Kobe Jordan leading the way. He's got a second now, 1.2 seconds on Brett Campbell. You can just see in the background there, Darren McKenzie coming thick and fast. He's 8.4 seconds down on Brett Campbell in third spot. Ruben Phelps in fourth. Andy Barber rounds you 5. Norman Clark in 6. We'll have a little bit of a look back and see where Adam Malone is. So Adam Malone come out of the lead of this motor race, and he is sitting back in the 12th position at the moment. So that's the difference of new tyres, ladies and gentlemen. That is the difference in new tyres. But you will see now the complete opposite if this run keeps going green, as these guys that pitted earlier than Adam Malone, and we're talking the likes of Darren McKenzie 17 laps earlier than Adam Malone. As this stint does play out, we'll see Adam Malone start making his way back up through the field. But Norman Clark's now made the move on Andy Barber up into P5. As I was talking about a little bit of the strategies, we can see Brian Bullock there just making the move up the inside of Tim Weston. So Brian Bullock moving up into the 8th position, ladies and gentlemen. And he now has Tom Pritchard a further 2.93 seconds down the road. He's the next one on the agenda. But I tell you what, Paul, we've been going green for quite a while now. We can hear everyone getting a little bit antsy in the background here on the InterSim Esports Network, and I'm sure you're asking, when is the next InterSim Esports Network trivia question? And look no further, wait no longer. It's right now, lap 110 of 200, as Kobe Jordan has I'm trying to look at my relatives. So Kobe Jordan is just getting past there by the 60 of Brian Bullock. Not for position, but Brian Bullock gets that one done. So the next question, as we just watch this little battle on screen at the moment. So what location, so your question, your Esports Network trivia question, what location or where is Phoenix Raceway located? So yes, we know it's in Phoenix, but where is it? And we want to know state and town, or town and state. So what location is Phoenix Raceway? Where is it located? So Paul, as we might be going caution there, as that looks like that's the number 6 of Tom Pritchard. He's had a big lick into the outside wall. Let's come back to our trivia very shortly, because it looks like he's had a little bit more damage than what he had on the number 6 there. So Paul, if we can, we'll go, I don't know if an incident's come up on your screen, whether we can go, we'll go to the Inside Lane Productions instant replay and have a look what happened to the number 6 of Tom Pritchard, who was having a nice solid run in this one. So he makes his way through that little tri-oval section of turn number 2 into turn number 3. Tim Weston on the outside of him there, making his way through it's now turn number 2, getting all confused. Tim Weston still on the outside, just holding his own as they make their way down into the final turn number 3. Tom Pritchard goes through there on the inside, still not seeing much at the moment. He might have got a big lick into the outside wall at some stage, so we'll stay on board and just see how this plays out with the number 6, because he's got a nice clean outside of his, or right-hand side of his car at the moment, and it definitely didn't look like that before. So he comes out of turn number 2 once again, down the back stretch, and he'll make his way into turn 3. We'll see where this happens. Aussie Esports car up in front of him. So hopefully this didn't have a play in it. That's Brett Campbell. You can see he's just making the move on there through that little tri-oval section. It's not really a tri-oval, but I'll call it the tri-oval for the sake it's night. Brett Campbell doing a wise job there, so he didn't get into the back of Tom Pritchard. Tom Pritchard doesn't look like much is really happening here, Paul. It must have taken laps and laps for this to happen, but Tom Pritchard has definitely found the outside wall at some stage. So sorry we can't bring that to you, ladies and gentlemen, on the Inside Lane Productions instant replay. It was telling us that he had an incident, but we can't see quite where that happened. So we might just go back to live action. We might go back to live action because there is a caution on the racetrack, ladies and gentlemen. And it is Tom Pritchard. Tom has crashed, so we're on board trying to find where the incident is, and he's just had an incident. So Tom Pritchard brings out the 6th caution of tonight. So we'll go straight back to the Inside Lane Productions instant replay and show you what actually brought out the 6th caution of the tonight, and it was the number 6 of Tom Pritchard. So we're on board with Tom there as he makes his... Oh, he's had a big lick into the outside wall. Looks like he got a little bit loose off turn number 2, got a bit skatey, put it into the outside wall, and then he's got double for his money there and hit the inside wall and then kept it off the outside wall for the second time. So that's not going to be good for the number 6 of Tom Pritchard here for round 5 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series here on the InterSim Esports Network. Of course, while we're under caution, go across, give us a like, give us a follow, share it to all your friends. Let everybody know. You can tune in across our Facebook or YouTube platforms. You don't want to miss any of that action here on the InterSim Esports Network. And of course, get notifications when we go live. So we are under yellow once again, and we'll go back to that question that was the 3rd question of our InterSim Esports Network trivia here for your Friday night. And I see that Steve Hoppett has answered the question. He's probably got Google, I'm not sure.
I can't see the comment yet, so it hasn't come up on my little pop-up box here. So if Steve's answered it, but I'll throw mine in because I don't know what Steve's actually put there.
All right, well, Paul, go in. And what is your answer for where is the location of Phoenix Raceway? And I need town and state, or town and city. I'm not sure. Is Phoenix a state? I don't know. Anyway.
Well, the state is AZ for Arizona.
Yeah.
But the town, well, I don't know, city, Phoenix, I guess. I don't know the rest of that, but the state I'm pretty sure is Arizona, AZ.
Well, you had a good start, just like most of your races, and just absolutely went into a heap. So that was
most of my races I finished good, thank you.
that was a bit of a low shot. I apologise about that. I don't know. I'm going to be caught up here again, but I'll give you the tip. I think it's a brand, and I don't know. I don't eat many of them, but I think it's a brand of avocado. Unless it just looks like the word avocado and I'm getting confused. You're going to laugh at me, guys, here. I do apologise. I'm showing my intelligence here, which is very lack thereof here on the InterSim Esports Network. I think it might be a type of avocado. Steve, can you tell me whether it's a type of avocado? Because, I don't know, I'm getting that wrong, I think. But anyway, we're still under caution here for the 6th time tonight. Darren McKenzie's now regained the lead of the motor race over Brian Bullock, Brad Fenley, Ruben Phelps and Norman Clark. That will be your top 5 as the pace card goes off. But I'll give you the answer quickly, Paul. And viewers, thank you. Steve's the only one answering tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So jump in and answer the questions. Get excited. We want to see your answers. The answer is Avondale, Arizona. So don't ask me why I think that's avocado. But anyway, we're about to go green. Once again, Darren McKenzie off the front. As I said, Brian Bullock on the outside of that front row. Brian scoring a little bit of Phoenix Raceway battle scars down the right-hand side there in the number 60, Ruben Phelps and Brad Fenley on the second row. It will be Norman Clark and Andy Barber there on the third row. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, as I just got to clear my throat. So we'll see different strategies here. Darren McKenzie did come through pit lane there under caution as we go green once again, as did Ruben Phelps, Norman Clark, Andy Barber and Tim Weston, or just before we went caution. So we're now 122 of 200 as Darren McKenzie gets a great jump over Brad Fenley. Ruben Phelps trying to get that move done on Brian Bullock through turn number 2. We'll see whether he can get that one done as Brian just holds fast on the outside there down the back straight. They get very close to each other there into turn number 3. So this is the move for the 3rd spot in the motor race as we see it so far, ladies and gentlemen. And the 06 of Ruben Phelps has got that job done over Brian Bullock. Norman Clark's there in the background. Storm and Norman, your championship leader out of New Zealand. It is the Kiwis making a charge at the moment. So it is Kiwi 3, it is Kiwi 6. Norman Clark trying to get that job on Andy Barber. So we will have 2 New Zealand drivers up into the top 5 in this one pretty shortly if Norman Clark can get that job done on Andy Barber. But Andy's doing a great job on that outside line, just getting that run and able to get the power down that little bit earlier than Norman Clark to keep him just ahead of him. As you can see there, Andy Barber able to carry so much more speed on entry through turn number 2 and just gets the power down a lot earlier, and Norman's just going to have to settle back in and regroup and get refocused rather, and try and tackle the number 5 Southern Stars racing outfit of Andy Barber once again to see if he can get a top 5. But I tell you what, Adam Malone was just having a dip there. But Brad Fenley, he is staying up. Oh, he is making a move. We've gone back. Adam Malone made the move there. I could see him making the move in the background as we went back to Brad Fenley. So good cameras there by Paul not to miss that move. So there's the move from Adam Malone. Adam didn't come through pit lane last time under the caution, but he's on a lot fresher tyres than the guys in front of him. So don't be surprised if we see Adam Malone start making his way up the field quite quickly in this one, as Kobe Jordan there is trying to make the move, or sorry, he is trying to hold off Tim Weston. So Kobe Jordan has made the move there on Tim Weston there. So Kobe Jordan's now jumped up into 8th. He's going to have Norman Clark in his sights. Adam Malone's have made the move on Andy Barber quite quickly there. So Adam Malone's now jumped into 5. He's got Brian Bullock's next on the agenda, and he makes that one nearly stick there through the tri-oval. He'll probably get that one done through turn number 2 this time around if he can get on the gas early enough. But Brian Bullock won't give it to him on that outside line. We've seen that they've been able to get down on the gas a little bit earlier, but Adam Malone will get that job done here through turn number 3, lap 127 of 200. So Adam Malone now up into P4. He'll have the New Zealand 06 entry Aussie Esports of Ruben Phelps in his sights now. 1.3 seconds down the road Ruben is, but this is the battle at the moment. Andy Barber now making the move on Brian Bullock. So Andy Barber getting that one done through turn number 2. Not quite enough to clear him out of turn number 2. Andy just keeps it down a little bit, but he's going to get that job done through turn number 3 this time around. Norman Clark trying to follow him through, and Norman's going to possibly get that job done. So we're seeing the same thing from Norman as what we saw the previous lap, and now Norman Clark gets that job done on Brian Bullock and moves up into P number 6. So your championship leader having a nice solid night tonight. He hasn't been at the front, he hasn't been at the back. He's been there or thereabouts, top 5, 6, 7, 8, and he is getting some solid points. Don't write off Norman Clark as we get into the back end of this one. He's not leading the championship for no unbeknown reason, so don't write off him. I'm very impressed with Brad Fenley though, Paul. He's only allowing Darren at the moment to get away by about 0.6 of a second. Brad Fenley through pit lane last time on lap 93, Darren McKenzie lap 118. So you can see all the top 4 at the moment on your screen in one picture, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the battle for the top 4 as you see it. We're 130 into 200. It's a long night here in the office. A lot for us to talk about. But Ruben Phelps is definitely going to come under fire now from Adam Malone. He's going to want to make it a Southern Stars Esports Racing 1 and 3. So Brad Fenley, pretty soon I'd suggest, will be the meat in the Southern Stars Esports Racing sandwich if he can get this move done on Ruben Phelps down on the exit of turn number 3 this time around. He's going to try and do a little bit of the over-under here and see whether he can get the run. He'll chop down across this. Oh, as they nearly make contact there through the so-called tri-oval. It's really weird calling that a tri-oval, but I'm going to keep sticking with it. So we'll see whether Adam Malone can get this one done. Ruben still looks a little bit pacey. He's not quite losing a little bit much off the back here, but have a look at Brad Fenley. He's definitely not letting Darren McKenzie go. He actually just gained 0.2 of a second on Darren last time around as Ruben Phelps, the pressure got to him there and he made a little bit of a mistake into turn number 3, and that gave the spot to Adam Malone. So Adam has moved up into P number 3. Of course, we need to do our sponsor shout-outs here on the InterSim Esports Network. A big shout-out to your naming rights sponsor, the Simrigs.com, the sponsor of the Simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series, of course, brought to you right here on the InterSim Esports Network. If you are in the market for a sim rig, anything sim racing, wheels, pedals, all those type of things, jump on to simrigs.com and have a look at some of the great offers and specials that they have with some of the best sim racing equipment around on the market. So if you are in the market for some sim racing gear, jump on to simrigs.com. It could be you next week. It could be you next month. It could be you next year. Joining these guys and this amazing talent here that you can see out on track for the Simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series. We'd love to see you all in here, but we'd also love to see you tuning in here on the InterSim Esports Network, keeping us company on a Friday, Sunday, and Tuesday night. And of course, we are coming to you again Sunday, which will be the next round of the Australasian Supercar E-Series, brought to you by Ray White Rural Game Day. We look forward to bringing you that one. But it's all about the Simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series here from Phoenix Raceway. We've just gone 135 of 200. It's getting away from us pretty quickly here, Paul. It took us a little while, 6 cautions, and we've got up to lap 136 now of 200.
Not sure if just wasn't watching the screen there for a moment, but Adam just dropped back and Ruben's made the move back into P3 once again. So not sure what happened there with Adam, if you saw that or not.
I didn't see that either, Paul. I missed that one. He might have made a little bit of a mistake. I was giving the sponsors a plug and going through my spiel, so I didn't quite get that one. So ladies and gentlemen, I do apologise that we did miss that one, but Ruben Phelps has made that move back on Adam Malone to take the 3rd place, but Adam's not looking to sit there at the moment as he pokes the nose out, just going into turn number 3 one more time. This is allowing Kobe Jordan to range up onto the back of this battle, but here's the battle for the lead of the motor race. Brad Fenley and Darren McKenzie. Brad Fenley coming off a podium last week. I've said that several times tonight. Here's one, Paul, that I said we had to keep one little eye on with his strategy and the way it was looking, and he's looking very, very racy to the point where he's almost going to want to get a move done on Darren McKenzie pretty shortly, but he's got Tim Weston there just trying to make a move. Tim is a lap car at the moment. He's now got his lap back on those fresher tyres as Darren McKenzie gets very close to the back of Tim Weston, and Tim gets loose through the tri-oval there. Now, I've got to stop calling that a tri-oval because it is not, but that's Tim Weston, so he's going to have to start that all over again to try and get his lap back. But here's the lead for the motor race. Brad Fenley over Darren McKenzie down into turn number 3 one more time. Darren McKenzie on that favoured outside line we've seen tonight. We'll see whether he can get the power down. Kobe Jordan's now into this as well. Adam Malone, where'd Kobe Jordan come from? Exactly right, Paul. From the clouds. Ruben Phelps there as well. 5-car battle. Darren McKenzie's looking in his mirror and saying, come on, boys, keep that going because I'm struggling. And he goes, I'm out of this one. I'm going to pit lane, boys. So Darren McKenzie now jumps out of the lead of this one. Brad Fenley's been the loser of this little battle. He's dropped back into 5th place. The winner of that one's been Kobe Jordan. He just came through the field like a knife through butter and made his way up into the 1st position. Adam Malone, he's been looking racy. He's finally got that job done again on Ruben Phelps. So has Brad Fenley, I believe, or is that a lap car there? That's a lap car. That's Tim Weston coming back through on those fresher tyres after his little bit of a lose. So he's going to make his way through Kobe Jordan and Adam Malone pretty quickly, you'd suggest, as long as he doesn't make that same mistake that he made earlier. So we've only got 8 cars on the lead lap. The 9th car is Darren McKenzie. That came through pit lane just before. So Darren McKenzie's actually showing as out on my live timing. I'm not sure why, but that's obviously going to change, I'd suggest. Darren McKenzie out of the motor race. No. He yells at me in the ear, eh? You got to ladies and gentlemen, you've got to be in my ear some nights. I get yelled at because I say the wrong things lots of time. But Adam Malone has made the move now on Kobe Jordan into the lead. So I tell you what, Paul, though, Kobe has been running well tonight. He's been good with his being able to keep his tyres under him. And we've found as these stints have gone on, Kobe has seemed to have quite a bit of pace. In saying that, he did come down pit lane lap 1:16 as opposed to Adam Malone 100, but their stationary times looks like Adam would have taken some fresh tyres and possibly not Kobe. So he's been really good tonight on his tyre strategy and tyre wear.
Yeah, Kobe's been running that high line on that outside line a lot of tonight. We haven't really seen Kobe drop below the yellow line too much tonight, and we've seen Kobe actually make that high line work a couple of times tonight as well.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and it's not a bad idea from Kobe to do that, because we have seen a few incidents tonight come about from them trying to use that little bit of an apron that isn't much here at Phoenix, just trying to use a little bit of it to get the car rotated in what is quite a significantly, not an ultimately flat track, but it is a flat track, as we saw that right there by Norman Clark, just putting his inside tyres underneath the yellow line on the apron there through turn number 2 to try and get the job done on Ruben Phelps. So not a bad idea from Kobe Jordan just to sort of stay off that, and that's helping him with tyre wear. Norman Clark trying really hard to get this job done on Ruben. It looks like Ruben's now covered that one off as Brad Fenley is back into this little battle. So this is the battle for third place at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. And I did say earlier Darren McKenzie's out, but he's definitely not out. It was my live timing. My live timing catches me out every single week, and I'm going to use that as an excuse. Paul's always yelling at me here saying you're an idiot, but that's all right. That's fine. That's what he's here for. But Darren McKenzie is not out of the motor race. He is a lap down at the moment as he's come in, and he's going to make his way through the field in this little bit of an alternate strategy, as we can see him there just making his way up through Norman Clark and Ruben Phelps. He'll get this job done quite easily down into turn number 3, and he now clears Ruben Phelps. So he's got 2 cars in front of him to be able to take the lead of to be able to get his lap back. He's got 3 seconds down the road from Kobe Jordan, then a further 1.5 seconds to Adam Malone for him to be able to get his lap back. But he's now off strategy with the rest of the field. We are 148 of 200. Can Darren McKenzie get the 0-2 home from lap number, where's Darren McKenzie there? Lap number 140. So does he have 60 laps worth of fuel in the 0-2 entry? I'm going to bet not, Paul. We haven't seen drivers make that yet, but in saying that, they might have cut a couple of runs short as well. So what are your thoughts, Paul? Does Darren McKenzie in the 0-2 have enough to get to the end? Because I would have thought if that was the case, and Adam Malone will be on comms with Darren McKenzie, as will all his other teammates, I would have thought Adam Malone would have blinked earlier, as we've seen what the difference is if you do have a fresh set of tyres as to an older set.
Well, I reckon the drivers should have about 50 laps of fuel easy, but Ruben Phelps has just come into the pit lane, so Ruben's going to take some tyres if he's got some in the bank and get a splash and dash, and he'll be making his way back out to see if he can make a podium spot in the next 50 laps as well.
Yeah, and you said the 50 laps. Yeah, I agree with you on 50, but Darren's got to get 60 left. And I know Ruben Phelps, I know him very well as I'm his teammate, as you all know. Ruben would not have made his stop until he was 100% sure that he was going to make it to the end on fuel. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, let's use Darren McKenzie as an example. He pitted on lap 40, he's got 60 laps left. It might say in his tank that he's got enough to do 60 and a half laps. That will drop down very quickly as he gets on the gas. Then, that doesn't take into account green and white checker or caution laps or anything like that. So, of course, caution laps will help because they'll clutch it and not use as much fuel. But this is a little bit of a story. Darren is always a chance, Steve said. Margaret's tuned in and said, of course, McKenzie can. I don't know. We didn't have the fuel numbers in terms of actual laps before we come into the broadcast. In saying that too, we haven't really had a long enough green flag run to be able to understand what they're using. So this is going to be really interesting to see whether Darren can make it to the end. We saw Kobe Jordan last night in the truck race that I ran. He actually ran out of fuel. So he miscalculated his fuel stop and he came in early, about 4 laps before he could make it to the end. So that'll be interesting to see whether Kobe gets it right. At the moment, he lasts through pit lane 116. So if he comes into pit lane now with 46 to go, no doubt I'd suggest Kobe Jordan will be right to make it to the end. So anyone in the top 5 at the moment, if they pit now, they'll be able to make it to the end. Norman and Brad Fenley's in pit lane now as I speak. So now we're seeing the guys that definitely think they can get to the end. Norman Clark and Brad Fenley in pit lane out of 4th and 5th position. So it is Adam Malone, Kobe Jordan and Brett Campbell, your 1, 2 and 3 at the moment. Those guys will make it to the end with one more stop. Norman Clark, Brad Fenley will make it to the end when they come out of pit lane. Darren McKenzie's got a little bit of a question mark on him at the moment, just in the back of my head. Can he run 60 laps under green, that is, to make it to the end, as he's just popped up into 4th position. Ruben Phelps through pit lane, lap 149. He'll make it to the end as well. So a lot to play out here for the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series. Also, don't write off the chance of that green-white checker. Who do you think's going to win this one, ladies and gentlemen? If you're tuning in here on the InterSim Esports Network, let us know who you're going for. Kobe Jordan, I've just noticed. I'm looking back. I'm seeing the broadcast off to the right, Paul. But Kobe Jordan, I see he's had a new profile pic put up. He's lost a bit of weight, gone a bit of a tanned colour, and looks a little bit animal-like in his profile pic that he's got here on the broadcast, mate. So Kobe Jordan with a picture of his dog there. So he's definitely running really quick. He won't want to change that picture. And there it is there, ladies and gentlemen. There's Kobe Jordan for you. So if you're wondered what Kobe looked like, there you go. That's what Kobe Jordan looks like. I don't know how he does the pedals, but anyway, he's going quick.
That's the inner beast coming out, isn't it? But they say they can teach an old dog new tricks, but I'm sure Kobe's not old, so but somehow he's managed to teach his dog how to drive a NASCAR.
Did you just say you can teach a dog new tricks? Are we going to have a conversation? We had our what did we have? We had our palm tree and coconut conversation where you got me on coconuts growing on palm trees and tried to. We had that one. I'm still confused about that, not the coconut and palm tree part, but anyway. Did you just say you can teach a dog new tricks? Have I been saying the wrong terminology my whole life? Am I learning another thing here? Did we need to have that on the InterSim Esports Network trivia? Isn't it? Is it you can't teach a old dog new tricks? Anyway, I'm digressing. I'm digressing, Paul. But Kobe Jordan doing a great job here and sitting there leading the way over Brett Campbell and Darren McKenzie. So Brett Campbell's now moved up into P2 because Adam Malone decided to come into pit lane. He came down pit lane on lap 158. So Adam Malone's now had his last little drink and he can make his way to the end. So only 2 more drivers to blink and come into pit lane to be able to make it to the end. Tristan Koch won't make it to the end. He's currently 16 laps down, but he last came in on lap 136. He actually might be able to make it to the end because he's that far laps down, so his lap count will be different. But Brett Campbell still in 2nd position there. Kobe Jordan and Brett Campbell came through pit lane. Only 1 lap difference, but Kobe Jordan has 10 seconds on Brett Campbell. So we're 161 into 200. We'll give you your final InterSim Esports Network trivia question, which will take you to bed tonight, and then we'll be able to bring you the final 39 laps of round 5 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series. All right, I've got a question. I've got a NASCAR Next Gen question related for you, Paul, and viewers, of course. This is pure NASCAR Next Gen related, as we see Andy Barber there trying to get a lap back there on Kobe Jordan there. So Andy Barber in car number 5, he was that on Kobe Jordan, Paul? I couldn't quite see that. It looks like it was. So Andy Barber currently sitting in the 5th position. That's Tristan Koch in front of him. So your quick question, I'll say it really quickly, is Andy Barber looking very quick at the end of this one. He's going to make his way past Tristan Koch very, very shortly. So your question and our final question of the night is, how much do the 2021, because in real life, these next-gen cars, for those of you tuning in that don't know, aren't actually running yet. They will be running in NASCAR next season. But how much do the 2021 next-gen cars weigh? And you can have that in kilograms or pounds, either way. You decide. So your question is, how much do the NASCAR Next Gen Series or Next Gen cars weigh? So just having a look there, still on board with Andy Barber. He's got that job done on Tristan Koch, who is many laps down. So Andy Barber still in 5th position. He's got Ruben Phelps 2 seconds up the road from him. Ruben Phelps has Kobe Jordan up the road, but Kobe Jordan's now blinked. So Kobe Jordan has come into pit lane. That's allowed Darren McKenzie to take the lead of this motor race. Adam Malone's come into pit lane as well. Kobe Jordan's on his way out. He'll come out of pit lane in 5th position, just ahead of Norman Clark. But it is the story. The story of tonight is all about Darren McKenzie, and can he make it on fuel? 60 laps on a tank of fuel. Can he make it, Paul? Is he banking on a late caution? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I was thinking back to trivia at the moment. I was going to give the viewers a bit of a little hint, and how you mentioned about in kgs or pounds, and I was thinking, well, if you were in the car, Aidan, and we used to call you Meatball, so if you're in the car and you're driving around Daytona and you hit the wall, then
which I do often,
you're going to pound the wall, so the car's going to be lighter in pounds than kgs because you just pounded the wall.
Yeah, well, I did it last night around Phoenix too, mate. So whatever my car weighed, it didn't weigh that at the end. I'll give you the tip. But yeah, very, very good point. Steve Hoppett's jumped in. You get me, this is like the palm tree. You got me again, mate. We're giving each other heaps tonight. Let's keep this up. It's great. Hope you're keeping entertained with our uselessness here on the Indosim Esports Network. But Steve Hoppett's just tuned in. He reckons it's 3,200 pounds, Paul. So you can do it in kilos or pounds. It's totally up to you. I do have both answers in front of me.
Do you have a conversion here? Because what's 3,200 pounds in kg?
Well, I don't have the conversion calculator up on me. You could probably Google the conversion of 3,200 pounds if you've got a screen available, but you've probably got them all used. I know all mine are completely used at the moment, but Ruben Phelps has now taken the 2nd position with those green flag pit stops. So 169 of 200, Ruben Phelps now into the 2nd position. Darren McKenzie's got 13 seconds on Ruben at the moment, but that gap is slightly dropping because of the difference in tyre wear. It is a 9-lap difference, but if Darren makes it to the end on fuel, Darren will have enough gap there by looks of it, as we got 30 laps to go with 13 seconds up the road. He's going to have to take at least 3-4 tenths of a second a lap, or about 3 or 4 tenths of a second a lap out of Darren McKenzie to get to the lead of this motor race before the checkered flag drops. To give you an idea, their last lap was exactly that difference. Darren McKenzie with a 28.6, and we'll just wait for Ruben to come across the line because I saw the difference last lap, and we'll just wait now. So Ruben comes across the line, and Ruben's last lap was actually a 28.6 as well. So Ruben didn't take anything out of Darren that time around. He did take 3 tenths of a second out of Darren the lap previous as well. So we'll just keep one eye on that one as it's just dropped below 13 seconds. Andy Barber only 1.7 seconds behind Ruben Phelps, as we have Brian Bullock there trying to get the job done on Tim Weston. This battle's for 7th and 8th, ladies and gentlemen. The difference of tyre wear here is Tim Weston, actual difference of pit strategy. Tim Weston last through on lap 135, so he's going to be very close to making it to the end too, you'd suggest, if Darren McKenzie can on lap 140. 5 laps is a big difference, though. So Tim Weston will be doing a great job if he can get the 61 to the end of this one. But real quickly, back to that question. Steve Hoppett said 3,200 pounds. We can do it in pounds and kilos. So, ladies and gentlemen, how much does a NASCAR Next Gen car weigh?
Well, I did bring up my little conversion here, and 3,200 pounds is 1,451, and if you want to be precise, 0.496 kgs.
Well, there you go. There you go. I now know what 3,200 pounds is in kilos. So do you reckon it's 1,451 kilos or 3,200 pounds? Margaret's just tuned in. She reckons 1,850 kilograms.
I was thinking, I think that's a pretty good answer there from Margaret, actually. Around that 1.8 figure there, but I think I might even go a bit more going into the 2000s in the kgs. We might go 2.1.
2.1 tonne for a NASCAR Next Gen. Okay, 2.1 tonne. It wouldn't be, I know the answer, but 2.1 tonne, good guess. Give you the answer though, because we are 175 of 200. It's all about to ramp up. And, excuse me, as I get a frog in my throat. Steve Hoppett's now barred from doing our InterSim Esports Network trivia because he's got everything right tonight and he must be Googling because there's no way you know all the answers to these questions. Although he could because he's a pretty smart cookie, Steve Hoppett. He was correct, Paul, and ladies and gentlemen, Steve Hoppett gets the chocolates on this one. The answer is 3,200 pounds or 1,451 kilos. So that is how much the 2021 NASCAR Next Gens weigh. So there you go. You know,
it must be easy if you look it up on iRacing on the car in the store there.
Yeah, most definitely. Several ways that you can find out the answer there, which some of our viewers don't have the ability to do that. So Steve Hoppett may be taking a little bit of an advantage there of his iRacing or even Google. But Google would have told you the same thing.
You said no Googling, but you didn't say you couldn't look at the car on iRacing.
I did too. I'm going to have to update our T's and C's, I think. I don't think anyone reads them, to be honest. Who reads T's and C's these days? They just sign on the bottom. I don't know. But
maybe
anyway,
we need some fine print in there.
Yeah, we'll add some fine print. We'll put it on the bottom of our leaderboard that we'll bring out for the people. So next broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, we might have to bring out some fine print for you for the Australasian Supercar E-Series on Sunday night as we bring you some more useless InterSim Esports Network trivia. But at the moment, it's still Darren McKenzie up the road from Ruben Phelps. Paul, Darren McKenzie's 11.6 seconds ahead of Ruben Phelps at the moment. So your top 5 is Darren McKenzie, Ruben Phelps, Andy Barber, Norman Clark, and Brad Fenley. So we'll see whether Ruben has anything for Darren McKenzie at the end of this one. I think he's a little bit too far away if it does go status quo, and Darren is good for fuel at the end. So it is 11.2 seconds. Ruben took another 1/10 of a second out of Darren last time around. Darren actually going to lap Brad Fenley, who's in 5th position on track. So Darren McKenzie has nearly lapped the whole field except for the top 4. So whatever strategy he's on at the moment, it's definitely working. I've still got my suspicions on whether Darren can make it to the end, Paul, but Steve's just commented ago and he goes, it was a guess. I think Cup cars are 3,500 and Next Gen are lighter. Did not Google. So Steve's justifying his non-Googling there. So thanks, Steve. Good guess, mate, and good answer. You've got 2 from 2 tonight, so you're on a roll. Hopefully you can back that up on Sunday. I'll be sure to make the questions a little bit more trickier, and we'll be sure to make the questions. We might actually throw in a couple of questions that are non-racing related. So we'll see what we can come up with there. But anyway, Darren McKenzie leads the way. It's lap 182 of 200. I might bring Ruben up into the booth. I know we've got 18 left. I'll just drop down there and have a quick chat to him, Paul. If you can just cover me for a second, see if we're okay to bring Ruben up.
No worries, Aiden. And current top 5. So Darren McKenzie, Ruben Phelps there in 2nd. Slowly closing that gap. That's now just dropped under 10 seconds to Darren McKenzie. So Darren McKenzie's starting to slow down a little bit here. Andy Barber there in P3 with Norman Clark in P4 and Brad Fenley, who we see on screen just in front of Darren, trying to stay on the lead lap in P5. We've got Brett Campbell, who's just entered pit lane as well for his last pit stop, leaving it a bit late.
Yeah, he has. So he's had a good run tonight, Brett Campbell, been in the top 10 all night, but we do have his Aussie Esports Racing teammate up into the broadcast booth. Ruben Phelps currently sitting in second position. Firstly, Ruben, thanks for making yourself available while you're actually driving around under green. The main question I've got for you is you just try and pass a back marker there. Main question I've got for you, obviously you're good to go to the end on fuel. You last came through pit lane on lap 149. Darren McKenzie on lap. Darren... Oh, he was. No, that moved. That moved. Ruben was. Someone just moved. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, we've got Brett Campbell in the booth. Someone just completely moved Ruben out of the booth. That is random. Brett, have you got a copy?
Yeah, mate.
Mate, you've had a solid race tonight. We're going to move Ruben into the booth. I'll move him down shortly. Bit of a different strategy. Top 10, though. Still doing a great job.
Yeah, mate. Unfortunately, I'm out now. I just blew the last right front tyre.
Oh, no. Oh, well, we didn't give you the commentator's curse. You're in the top 10, mate. You come off a win next week. You must be happy with how you're going around Phoenix anyway. I'm sure you'll be glad to see the back of this track move into next week.
Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. I mean, it's a very tough track to try and get your head around. Tyre deg around here is very high.
Well, mate, unfortunate not to be able to finish that one in the top 10, but we look forward to talking to you soon, as we'll just go and actually bring Ruben down this time and have a chat to Ruben as he's second in the motor race at the moment.
Yep, no worries, mate.
All right, Paul, so I don't know if I brought the wrong person down because I'm sure I saw Ruben Phelps, but this is me. I'm having a great night, so we'll move Ruben Phelps down into the broadcast booth. And second time asking, I brought Brett Campbell up thinking I brought you up, Ruben, so I'm on fire, mate. Lap 188 of 200. We won't keep you long. Thanks for letting us talk to you while you're driving around. You've got 8 seconds to go on Darren McKenzie, lapping a little bit quicker than him at the moment. You came in pit lane, lap 149. You're obviously good to go to the end. Darren last through pit lane on lap 140. I thought that might have been a little bit of a long stretch to get 60 laps out of a tank of fuel. Do you think Darren will get to the end?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. It's been a very interesting race. 200 laps, 3 sets of tyres. Let's just say there's been a lot of tyre issues tonight, and we can see that there's hardly anybody left. So, yeah, it's been a very eventful race, I can tell you.
Yeah, definitely. As it started off with a lot of cautions, we've only had 6 cautions of the night, and it's been a good little green flag run to the end. So we'll let you jump back in and concentrate for these last 10 laps. See if you can chop out those last 7 seconds as you're lapping about half a second quicker than Darren, and see whether he can get to the end.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you.
Well, there you go, Paul. Ruben Phelps made himself available for us. We've now got 10 laps to go. He's not sure whether Darren can get to the end on fuel. Been a very different strategy game. We can see Ruben's actually taking about 0.6 of a second a lap out of Darren at the moment. So I could be suggesting now that Darren is starting to clutch that 0-2 entry to try and nurse it to the end. So interesting to hear from Ruben. Well, we're under green flag conditions, and this will be the battle for the lead of the motor race as we see Norman Clark dropping off the back at the moment. And Ruben last time around took 0.8 of a second out of Darren McKenzie. So with under 10 laps to go, he's taking about 7 to 0.8 of a second a lap out of Darren. Darren's got to be struggling at the end of this one.
Well, why don't we jump on board with Darren, and we'll do a lap around with Darren, just see how he's going with his car.
Let's jump on with Darren and see if he's clutching to try and nurse it to the end in this one. On board with the 0-2 as the gap between himself and Ruben Phelps now jumps down to nearly under 5 seconds. It's coming down quicker than I can talk. He's taken a whole 0.8 of a second out of Darren last lap around. So Darren coming out of turn number 3, very close to the wall. So we'll just watch his tacho there. He was revving it out. We'll see whether he clutches it into turn number 2 this time around. Very late on going down the gear there. So he's definitely nursing it to the end. Will he be able to make it, ladies and gentlemen? Lap 193 of 193 of 200. Ruben Phelps now down to nearly 4 seconds to the gap to Darren McKenzie. He's really struggling with that right front tyre. Has he blown the right front tyre? Don't know. He's struggling to get that thing. Yeah, he's getting that thing turned in very slow. He is going backwards. Ruben Phelps is going to take the lead of this motor race on these numbers, Paul. We're down to 3 seconds.
I think Darren's blown that tyre.
Darren has blown his front right tyre, and that is all she wrote. The 06 of Ruben Phelps takes the lead of this motor race from Darren McKenzie. Darren McKenzie, who led most of this motor race at the point. Not only was it a fuel issue, it was a tyre issue. And Darren McKenzie out of this motor race, or at least in pit lane at the moment. You can't recycle tyres here in iRacing, so if he's got nothing over the wall, that is all she wrote for Darren McKenzie, as we're only 5.5 laps left to go. Keep an eye on Norman Clark, ladies and gentlemen. He's lapping 3/4 of a second quicker than Ruben Phelps with 5 laps to go. So we've got under 3 seconds, or just on 3 seconds, between Ruben and Norman Clark. 196 now of 200, 4 to go. Keep an eye on this battle. 29.2 seconds for Ruben last time around. 28.7 for Norman. So half a second last lap. 4 laps to go. If he takes half a second out of Ruben, he'll nearly be on the back of Ruben by the time we get to the checkered flag. Will this back marker get in the road? Is that actually Brian Bullock in the 5th position? I'm not quite sure. It looks like it is in the 60. So Brian won't have to move out of the way, but he definitely does that. We're now down to 2.5 seconds. 29.15 Ruben last time around. 28.66 seconds for Norman Clark, your championship leader. 2.4 seconds it is now. 197 of 200. This time across the strike, it'll be 3 laps to go. Will Norman Clark be able to make it? It looks like he's a little bit too far behind Ruben now. Even if he takes half a tenth, he'll only get to within 0.7 of a second of Ruben. So Ruben will just be trying to keep that car nice and straight, Paul. It's now about to drop down to just under 2 seconds. So last time around, he only took 2/10 out of Ruben's time. So Norman Clark might have left his run a little bit too late. He did pit on lap 154 as opposed to lap 149. Ruben's probably just sitting back there, making sure that front tyre does get to the end. So we're lap 198 of 200. This is round 5 of the Sim Rigs NASCAR Next Gen Series. Next time past the strike, there will be 1 lap to go. The gap is down to 1.5 seconds. Ruben Phelps over Norman Clark as they make their way down the back stretch into turn number 3 for the second last time tonight. The 06 of Ruben Phelps just needs to navigate 3 more corners and he will be winner of round 5 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series. He takes the white flag. The gap is down to 1 second. You can clearly see Norman Clark in the background now, catching Ruben hand over fist. Will Norman Clark be able to get up to the back of Ruben? 1 more corner after they navigate through this one, and it looks like anything going wrong, running out of fuel or popping a tyre, Ruben Phelps is just going to hold on to first place here for round 5, and your winner of round 5 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series is the 06 of Ruben Phelps, with Norman Clark coming home in 2nd place. What a drive by Norman, taking it all the way down to the wire. Norman, who was sitting back there for a little while, and this one definitely made his way up to the top. Andy Barber, solid recovery drive there, coming home in the 3rd position. Only 4 cars on the lead lap tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and here's the final one of them. It is the 59 of Brad Fenley coming home in the 4th position. So, Paul, not many cars finished this one. It was definitely a night of attrition. You can see how many cars are 20 laps down. Tristan Koch was still running in that one. Brett ended up 22 laps down. It was a war of attrition. Definitely a hard night at the office for everyone involved.
Definitely, it was quite a long race, 200 laps at Phoenix. I thought it would go quite quickly, but we're pretty much into the 2-hour mark, or over the 2-hour mark for this race. And yeah, as you said, only 4 drivers there on the lead lap, and not many more actually on the track left as well. So good job from those four to actually manage their tyres and to bring cars home. Otherwise, we could have been seeing a race that might have ended with no one finishing the race.
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit odd having 200 laps around Phoenix. They do it based on the miles, so that's what brings the laps. So that's why we saw 200 laps around Phoenix, but it was definitely hard. The guys had to manage their tyres, and we saw more than half the field either not be able to do that or get caught up in incidents. So we'll go through your finishing order for what was round 5 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series, and your winner was the 06er Ruben Phelps. Second place was Norman Clark. He'll extend that championship lead at the top of the series, coming home in second. Andy Barber, Southern Stars Esports Racing, comes home with a nice solid P3. Brad Fenley, 4, and Brian Bullock rounds your 5. Tim Weston, Darren McKenzie holds on for 7th. Reese Clayton 8th. Tristan Koch home in 9th, and Brett Campbell with a nice solid P10, the one that could have been for Brett. Kobe Jordan, Adam Malone, Jamie Nankovas, Tom Pritchard and Greg Spencer, your 15. Mark Johansson, Maxi Marshall, Todd May rounds out your 18 as we roll across the page. 19th was Derek Jacobs. Matt Payton rounds out your 20. Matty Simpson, 21st. Michael Shaw, 22nd. And Glenn Klein rounds out your 23 starters here tonight for round 5 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series. So we hope you enjoyed all the action here on the IndySim Esports Network for round 5 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series. We surely did enjoy bringing all the action to you here. It was our pleasure. We look forward to bringing you all the drivers up into the booth shortly for who come 1, 2, and 3 in the championship, in the race. We will bring you up the championship results now, or the unofficial championship results, before we do speak to your top 3 drivers and show you how that has played out after round 5. So Norman Clark, he is still leading the championship up there on 157 points. Brad Fenley remains in second on 153 after tonight. Darren McKenzie on 142 in third. Kobe Jordan in fourth on 136. Tristan Koch in 5th position. So your top 5 did not change after tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Andy Barber up 1 spot after his 3rd place tonight on 128 points. Tom Pritchard, 121 in 7th. Brett Campbell, 113 in 8th, a night that could have been for Brett. Ruben Phelps up 7 positions after his W tonight. He's in the 9th position. Good to see Ruben have a solid result in the next gen tonight. Maxi Marshall in P10 there on 98 points. We'll let you find your favourite driver as we scroll through the unofficial championship points after we finish with round number 5. The guys are a little bit slow coming down into the green room, so we might just bring them down for them so they can come and have a chat to us. So we'll just move them up into the broadcast booth now. We just got to find our 2nd place getter, if we can find him. There he is, and we bring him down into the broadcast booth. And we now have the top 3 drivers for round 5 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series into the booth with us, and we'll start off with 3rd place tonight. Andy Barber, the number 5 Southern Stars Esports Racing entry. P3 tonight, mate, caught up in a little bit early, but just kept circulating. It was definitely a race of tyre wear and fuel strategy, and you come home with yet another podium. And Andy Barber might not be with us at the moment as he is not talking. So we'll move straight across to our 2nd place getter. We'll do it a little bit differently, and we'll move across to the 09 Natari Autosport entry of Norman Clark. Norman, mate, had a pretty quiet race, sort of sitting around about that 5th to 10th position for majority of that race, and got back up there when you needed to at the point. You were very close to catching Ruben at the end.
Yeah, I normally sort of hang around for most of the race and sort of look after my stuff, as best I can. The guys were pretty quick, everybody in the race was really quick. And so I was just looking after my, like I say, looking after my stuff. I mean, my first set of tyres, I only took it around about lap, I don't know what it was, 87 or somewhere around there before I went to the, changed my tire. And yeah. So,
Yeah, well, it definitely worked out for you, mate. And you had some pace there on Ruben at the end. You got it down to under a second. I reckon if you had another 3 or 4 laps, you would have got the W.
well, that is actually so. But I mean, earlier on in the race, there was 2 or 3 times that I caught up to Ruben. It was half the time I don't even know what I'm doing. So I make a pit stop at the wrong time or do something stupid. And anyway, then I end up behind him again. But then I catch him. But it takes lap after lap after lap to pass him. It's very, very difficult to pass. But I passed him eventually each time. But this last time, I mean, I just couldn't run him down all the way. I might have got up to his bumper, but to get past, probably need another 10 laps, to be honest.
Well, you do make a good point. There is the saying in motor racing, it is very easy to, or not very easy, it's you can get up to the back of the driver in front of you. It's one thing catching him, but definitely is another thing getting that pass done. But good to see you back out there, mate. You retain your championship lead after round 5. I'm sure you're happy with your P3. Of course, you've got all your sponsors and all your shout-outs to do. Your P2, sorry, Andy just screwed that over with me not being able to speak to him first. So your P2 tonight. Mate, you got obviously those shout-outs and people to thank for your second position.
Yeah, well, I must first, congratulate Ruben on the win and Andy on third. And Brad Fenley is actually the one I've been sort of racing the whole night because he was the guy with the closest threat. But then again, Darren is my main worry. So, yeah. But as far as the shout-out goes, well, I'm sort of running the car more or less as a private entry, although I'm part of Natari. But so it's a private entry. So the only shout-out really is to you guys and simrigs.com, and... Inside Lane Productions and so on. So, and the good job you guys do. So that's it.
No worries at all, Norman. Well, congratulations once again on your P2 tonight. We look forward to seeing you next week for what will be round 6. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen, your second place getter tonight, the 06 and 09 entry of Norman Clark from New Zealand. And that moves us straight across to your second place getter. We're doing it a little bit different. Third place getter, it's just absolutely stuffed me over. But your third place getter, Andy Barber, the number 5, Southern Stars Esports Racing entry, mate. I said it to you earlier. You couldn't quite respond. I don't think your your mic was working. But third place tonight, you got in a little bit of trouble early. Got a bit of damage, kept circulating, kept going. It was a war attire attrition and pit strategy, and you've got to be happy coming home with third place.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a copy there?
Yeah, got you this time, mate.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, I was just trying to really learn the last couple of races to run my own race and kind of worry less about what others are doing and concentrate on what I'm doing. So a little bit unfortunate with that first incident there with I think it was a lap car and maybe Greg, I'm not sure, but yeah, I just basically didn't have anywhere to go. So luckily I only had probably about a minute and a half worth of repairs there, which I did in a couple of the cautions. And yeah, just got back onto my strategy and tried to run my own race and then see where we came out at the end. So we got a little bit lucky.
Well, you've got to be in it to win it, as they say, mate. And we spoke to you, I think it was a broadcast or 2 ago, and you got back onto the podium after having a little bit of a rotten run of form on your own admission. And you're happy to be up in the P3, as you said. Darren McKenzie, he's your teammate. Bit of a hard luck story for Darren. Don't mean to talk about Darren, but bit of a hard luck story for him. I was the one worrying about his fuel strategy, trying to get 60 laps of fuel out of it, and it looked like the front tyre ended up beating him in that one. So did you hear anything in your mic with Darren and how his race was panning out at the front there?
Yeah, absolutely. He was on a slightly different strategy to us. We kind of split it up a little bit tonight, and unfortunately, he did have that blowout late in the race. And I know from my own driving there, I had 7%, 12%, and 6% left on all of my sets. So just tried to max it out and made sure I tried to gauge where I was going to maybe get the meatball and pull in before that, because I think I kind of learnt my lesson from the supercars in the Indy 400 last season there. So I'm just trying to not make that same mistake. But the two boys in front, Ruben, I tried catching him for a while there, but he was just too good and I couldn't get to him. And Norman gave me a fair run too. So congrats to those guys.
Well, mate, you said congratulations to the other podium getters, but P3 once again up here in the booth talking to us again. Always good to have you up here. I'm sure you've got other shout-outs and people you want to thank for what is yet another podium.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Pretty happy with the consistency, so we'll see how that goes over the next few races. But I'd like to thank Skypoint, Mish's Excel Garage, and Tiona Holiday Park for all their support, and InterSim's Esports Network. You guys do an absolutely amazing job through all your broadcasts. And finally, the Full Throttle Sim Racing Leagues.
No worries, well said, mate, and thanks for the kind words. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen, your third place getter tonight for round 5 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series from Phoenix Raceway. It was the number 5 Southern Stars Esport Racing entry of Andy Barber. And that moves us to your winner tonight, the 06 Aussie Esports entry of Ruben Phelps. Rubes, mate, another P1. Norman definitely was coming for you at the end of that one, but you've got to be happy with another solid P1.
Oh, yeah, no, it was definitely, like I was saying when you came up to me earlier, it was a very eventful race. Tyres were definitely an issue. I don't know, after the first run there, I think we done maybe 48 laps and my tyres were at 45% on that right front, and I'm thinking, these cars usually don't have tyre wear like this, and I was very concerned from there on. I'm thinking, shit, we've got 3 sets of tyres. Oops, I swore. But the tyres were definitely a big factor for a lot of retirements tonight. So you could say luck was definitely a factor tonight for this win, because I definitely wasn't. I was sort of 4th, 5th, but respectively, it's about where I should have or would have been tonight without any issues. But I felt like a pinball as well most of that night.
Yeah, well, like I said to Norman and Andy, you've got to be in it to win it. And at the end of the day, you're there. We saw Brett come away with the win last week. He was on his own admission, said, it was a little bit of a Bradbury type thing, but you've got to be in it to win it, and you definitely did that tonight. You come off top 5 last night around this track in the truck series, and on what actually should have been a podium position with a bit of bad luck. So you've got to be happy with your P1. How are you feeling looking forward to round 6 next week? It's going to be at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Brickyard 200.
Looking forward to it. My favourite racetrack.
Yeah, it is a good racetrack. We've had a few ding-dong battles around there ourselves, mate. So Indianapolis, we're looking forward to bringing all the action to you here on the InterSim Esports Network. But Ruben, your P1 once again, you've obviously got those shout-outs and people you want to thank for your P1.
Yeah, got to thank Aussie Esports, of course, you, Aiden, because you're a teammate of mine. So, got to shout out them, Brett Campbell and Tristan Koch. They even though Tristan was 20 laps down at the very start of the race from a fault with his software, he ended up in the top 10, and Brett, with his tyre situation, got a top 10. So it was a Aussie Esports top 10 trio.
Yeah, that's good for the team and good for everyone involved. We've seen Brett had a couple of solid results, and Tristo, I'm sure he's going to get up there pretty shortly. But, mate, congratulations once again on your P1.
Yeah, thank you. And, of course, shout out to you guys and to Sim for broadcasting, Paul and Aiden there. And, of course, Shori for the Full Throttle League and this the Next Gen Series. And it's been fun. Of course, last week I had a bit of a drama with iRacing, and for 4 or 5 days I could not get in there. So from first to last to first and within the last 3 weeks. So it's you can say it's a big swap around.
Oh, it's good to see you up on the front anyway, mate. Hopefully you can keep doing that. Hopefully see you at the point for the Australasian Supercar E-Series on Sunday night. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen, your winner for what was round 5 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series from Phoenix Raceway. It was the 06 Aussie Esports entry of Ruben Phelps. from over the ditch in New Zealand. But ladies and gentlemen, that does bring to a close what was round 5 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series. But it all doesn't stop here on the InterSim Esports Network. If you haven't already, give it a like, give it a follow, so you don't miss all the notifications when we do go live. But we will be bringing you all the action this Sunday night as we go live for what will be round 3 of the Australasian Supercar E-Series, brought to you by Ray White Rural Gained. Your location will be Daytona International Speedway. It will not be the Oval this time. It will be the Roval, the road course. So we're going road course racing for the Australasian Supercar E-Series. You'll catch all the action live here on the InterSim Esports Network on Sunday night from 7:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, or 8:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, depending where you are located. Then we will be live again on Tuesday night, where we bring you the next round of the Blendline TV Pro Car GTE Championship. They're back in Australia. They're at Oran Park Raceway. So we'll be bringing all the action to you live here on the InterSim Esports Network from about 6:45 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, or 7:45 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, wherever you may be. So make sure you tune in for all the action for that one. And then we'll be straight back here next Friday night for what will be round 6 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series. As I said, we are going to the Brickyard, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It is the simrigs.com 200. You can catch all the action live here on the InterSim Esports Network from about 7:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, or 8:15 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, wherever you are. Of course, a big shout out to those sponsors, simrigs.com, for this series, Inside Lane Productions, and of course simracermerch.com, where you can find all your custom sim racer merch gear if you would like to get a part of that. But that brings to an end our broadcast here for round 5 of the simrigs.com NASCAR Next Gen Series. We thank you all for tuning in and joining us tonight. We look forward to having you here on Sunday night for the Australasian Supercar E-Series, and then Tuesday night for the Blendline TV Pro Car GTE Championship. But from myself, Paul, and everyone at the InterSim Esports Network, that brings to a close round number 5. We look forward to seeing you on Sunday night.